Good morning, Raptor Freaks. Alexiot's here, and it's Monday morning. What a Monday morning to wake up to. A double W victory yesterday for the Raptors organization with a very opposite kind of wins. 1 point win in overtime against our arch enemy, the Philadelphia 76ers, which I took in from the crowd in section 114 last night. So much to talk about this game and the reaction. And the Raptors 905 taking care of business in Birmingham, Alabama against the Squadron. At the same time, the Raptors are playing and they win by 45 points. Yeah. So we got to do the stars of the game, much deserved stars of the game for the games yesterday. And we got a preview because no rest for us. We're going right up against Nick Nurse and the Philadelphia 76ers again tonight. Crazy. I'm so proud of the Raptors. This game last night was one of the most epic games I've ever been to in my life, personally, as a Raptors fan. And you guys know I've gone to a lot of games over the years. I've gone to a lot of Raptors games. And this one last night was different. There was a lot of weird stuff that happened. And it's amazing. I couldn't believe it, man. All right. I don't even know where to start because this thing is so crazy. So what I'll do is I'm going to do the preview for tonight so that we can get our bearings straight for the business at hand, which is another game. And in some ways, it's weird because we're coming off the elation and the absolute battle of the game last night. To get to that point, to have to play them again tonight is absolutely crazy in some ways. And well, there's going to be adjustments because they do have reinforcements coming. And we will talk about it. Big Scott, after the game, talking to Danielle Michaud in the post-game interview, said, yeah, we know that Joel is going to play tonight. And that's going to change the settings for the game to an extent. We're just going to have to see what it is. Scotty already gave away some of the game plan for tonight. He's saying, we got to just stop him without fouling him. Easier said than done. It's tough not to foul Joel. He's such an awkward, like, tall tree that's ready to fall in the forest at any time. And, Joel's going to get favor with the refs in weird ways. Well, we're going to look at them in a second, too. And it'll be a good task. I don't know what'll happen with the Raptors. Let's go look at their injury report for today because Jacoby is added to it after leaving the game in the first quarter last night. Jacoby Walter has a hip issue, guys. If you were wondering what part of his body got hurt in the game last night, it was his hip. And he has been ruled out of the rest of the game last night. We knew that. And actually, this afforded a lot of opportunities for different guys that may not have happened if Jacoby had stayed healthy and played his full minutes for the game last night. This is actually really interesting. Some of the stuff that happened with Elijah Martin may not have happened the same way it did if Jacoby had stayed in the game. So serendipity, fate, things work out in certain ways. It's very interesting. We'll have to monitor what happens with Jacoby. He's officially day-to-day right now. There's a good chance because he left the game last night, he will not be playing today. We'll just say that, my educated opinion. Brandon Ingram did not play yesterday, but I'm going to say this. When I came to the game last night, I watched pregame shoot-around, and Brandon looked fine. He looked like he was moving around fine. Of course, it's a thumb injury, and he did have something on his thumb, but he was shooting fine too. Like both his hands, he's just doing everything. And I don't know, man. Maybe they were resting him yesterday, and they put Scott in for last night, and they're going to place Brandon tonight. So I think that Brandon Ingram's playing tonight, guys. I think that he may be the reinforcement that we get to counter the reinforcements of Paul George and Joel coming back for the Sixers. So I'm going to put an educated guess that Brandon Ingram might be playing tonight, guys. Seriously. Because, I mean, the thumb injury is weird. And if he can shoot, because he could shoot. I saw him doing it before the game last night. And he's moving around. And he looked fine. Honestly, I was like, why is he even out if it's thumb? I don't know. You don't know, Lex. You don't know better than Dr. Alex McKechnie. So I don't know. If anybody's coming back, maybe Brandon Ingram today. Yak is another one. It's mysterious, and some people are, people are writing stuff. Well, Darko said he'd be back sooner than later, and that's not happening. It's still later. I get that. I get that, Josh Lundberg. Darko may have made it a little rosier sounding what is going on with Jakob and his back. But, it's the kind of thing where he could wake up this morning and he feels better. He feels like $1,000,000 and he's ready to come in and play for the game tonight. So there's different ways this can go down, RJ is listed. Of course, he missed the game yesterday wearing street clothes. I don't know how to gauge RJ right now. That ankle injury did look kind of like annoying, like bad in the game on Friday. I don't know. Like I just want these guys to magically appear and come back to the lineup, because if we can do what we did last night with the guys missing, when we have those other guys, oh my gosh, it's crazy. Chucky's still out also. Chucky's on the injury list. Of course, I got to mention him too. So we got quite a laundry list of guys that are mentioned on there. So speculating from what I just said, who I think will be playing tonight, Manuel quickly. That they it was very cool to see the quick shed start last night. It started shed with quickly, which was really kind of interesting right from the bat. I don't know if they start shed in the place at the second spot again tonight. I don't know what they do at that spot. It's kind of crazy. They could put Oshai back in, because they did play Oshai last night. He did get to play, which was good. Scotty, Colin, obviously, Colin and Scotty up front. And then, like I said, I hope Brandon's playing. Brandon comes back. Colin, Scotty, Brandon, Emmanuel, Jamal. Maybe a starting lineup like that. I don't know. It worked pretty good with Edgecombe and Maxey having quickly and Shed at the start of the game. In fact, we saw some lineups last night where they ran, and that was right at the end of the game, with Martin out there with Shed and quickly, which was a seemingly small lineup, but actually a very effective lineup. And I'm going to get to the reason why it was very, very soon in my reaction. But we're still doing the preview. Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to see Brandon's availability, RJ's availability, Yak's availability, and we'll figure out the starting lineup from there, I'm sure, with Darko. On the other side, the injury report for the Sixers is clean. There's nothing there now because Joel took his load management last night. And it was interesting that Paul George was a late scratch right before the game. Nick Nurse is so weird. He's like talking about it after the game. He's like, oh, yeah, he was doing shoot around. And Paul George's leg got tight. His leg got tight. I don't know, man. Paul George, man, you are a Where's Waldo guy. Like, seriously, what is this, man? Like, seriously, why are you stealing money from the NBA? Like, you've been doing this for a few years now. You've kind of been doing this since Oklahoma City. That's what I would say, man. He's kind of been stealing money from the NBA for like, I'd say about 5 or 6 years now. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with Paul George. Some ways I don't care. The guy's in some ways he's a loser to me. It's like, look, man, okay, I don't know. Whatever, he may be hurt for real. I don't know. I shouldn't be saying this kind of stuff, I guess. But in some ways I'm just like, what the hell's going on here? Oh, wait, they did change them. Okay, let's see. The injuries are okay, yeah, that's all from yesterday. Anyway, we saw the Sixers last night. We've seen the dynamic backcourt of Maxey and Edgecombe. A lot of athleticism there. Maxey is really perfecting his form. And meanwhile, Edgecombe is a stud kind of athlete in the way he's doing things, but he's still rookie and he's green and he's making mistakes. Then you had Dominic Barlow, which is him and Kelly Oubre were an interesting set of guys out there with their floppy hair, running around up and down the court with some length. They were, Andre Drummond got the start last night, as I thought he would, in the place of Joel Embiid. Of course, he was absolutely ineffective in this game last night because he was a pylon, basically. They ran right around him in circles and stuff. But, yeah, we went over their team. We know who they are. There's some speculation about whether Kyle Lowry will get to play tonight or not. Apparently, Nick Nurse has not played Kyle Lowry since December the 5th. So you do the math. That's over a month. And Kyle's like, I don't know if I'm going to get to play in Toronto. in these 2 games. The fans want it. I wanted it last night. I was like, "Man, why don't you let the GOAT play in Toronto maybe one last time?" And I think that if anybody out of the coaches in the NBA could understand the importance and the meaning of that, Nick Nurse would, right? Alas, we did not see Kyle Lowry get in the game last night, but maybe we will tonight so that the Raptors fans can see him on the court one last time in Toronto at Scotiabank Arena, because it really is probably likely he's done. He's got a broadcasting career in front of him coming up. You see, it is crazy. Kyle's chosen the broadcasting route because Prime is interested in him. I think it's Prime. It's one of those big companies, and he's very, in some ways, he's very excited to get into the next part of his life, which is golf broadcasting in his sons. So that's pretty much where Lowry's heading towards. He came into the game wearing an Austin Matthews jersey. He said that he wanted to represent the city and show love to the city, and he said he has a lot of respect for Austin Matthews, so he wore the Leafs jersey. He was going to say he wanted to represent Canada, but he said, "Oh wait, it's the Leafs. Never mind." Kyle's so funny, man. And I was like, it's so cool that he does that. I saw a moment with Kyle before the game where he was standing with Garrett Temple and Alvin Williams and Matt Devlin at center court, and they were just having a blast, goofing around and joking. You could tell Alvin was, ribbing Kyle, and Kyle's ribbing him back, and Garrett is just laughing his head off and just kind of like standing in the middle of it all. Oh man, the vibes are strong when Kyle's around, man. Seriously, the vibes are strong. All right, let's go look at the referees for tonight. This is an interesting crew. Last night, man, oh my gosh, ref manipulation segment for today is going to be crazy. It's going to be crazy because the Raptors did something I've never seen done before. They beat a ref manipulation hit job that was going to seal their doom and really tried to at the end of the game, but they beat it somehow, some way. And I'm going to dissect exactly how the Raptors managed to survive this game last night and win this overtime game by 1, despite the fact that Mitchell Irvin, Rodney Mott, and Natalie Sago were actively trying to give the game to Philly at the end of the game. We all saw it on the TV at home. We saw it in the crowd sitting in the stands last night. And, well, we'll go over it and just how it was crazy how they really were trying so hard, and it didn't take, and we actually beat a ref hit job at the end of the game. Like, they did not want us to win last night. And in some ways, this makes me feel like the Raptors are very powerful because I'm telling you right now, the storyline that Mitchell Irvin was assigned to get to happen last night did not come true because they did not want the Raptors above the Sixers in the standings as of last night. And, well, now we're a game and a half ahead of them. And even if they beat us tonight, we'll stay above them in the standings because we won this one last night. It's really, really good. But we're going to get to that. There's a lot I have to say about the referees last night. Each of them, each of the 3, they had a part, each of them. And I'm really disappointed in you, Rodney Mott. And I said that to him very loudly in the arena last night. They heard me. Well, I'll talk about this. This is hilarious what happened. Philadelphia, Toronto. Tonight, Jason Goebel is our crew chief, the younger Goebel brother from Miami. His 10th season, number 68. His favorite TV show is Power. He likes the movie The Godfather. He listens to Mark Anthony to get down. His favorite book is Pirates in Blue. His favorite meal is veal parmesan. So if anybody makes that good, bring it to the game. He likes to watch Netflix. He'd most like to visit Tahiti, and his bucket list is to roll his own cigar in Cuba. Jason Goebel officiated 4 years in the NBA G League, refereeing the playoffs in 2015 and 16 and the finals in 2016. Yeah, it's the younger Goebel. He is the one who was a police officer in Miami for many years. And, well, he's the crew chief. We've had him twice this year already. We won one and we lost one. We lost the last time he reffed. So we're 1-1 for the season when Jason Goebel is present as a referee. Our overall winning percentage with Jason Goebel in the history of the Raptors and him being around, we win 49% of our games, 48.5 to be exact. And the Sixers win 52% of their games. So 49 to 52, the split for the 76ers in the crew chief, Jason Goebel. That's the winning percentages. The second ref is one of the best refs in the history of the NBA for the Raptors. It's Dedrick Taylor, number 21 in his 12th season, the UPS driver out of Miami, Florida. Also, his favorite TV show is Good Times. He likes the movie Crash. He listens to Michael Jackson. His favorite book is Tears We Cannot Stop. His favorite meal is breakfast. He likes to play Candy Crush. He most like to visit Africa. His bucket list is to skydive. His hidden talent is trumpet and juggling. I wonder if he can do that at the same time. That would be really impressive. How do you hold the trumpet and juggle the balls at the same time? Are you able to have the trumpet just in your mouth, Dedrick Taylor? That's amazing. That's amazing. I don't know. I'm not trying to poke fun. You're awesome. Dedrick joined the full-time NBA staff after 4 seasons as a referee in the G League. He officiated in numerous collegiate conferences, including the Atlantic Sun, Conference USA, Mid-Eastern Athletic, SEC, Southern, and Sun Belt conferences. Dedrick is at the very near the top of the ref report spreadsheet that I use. He is in the pink zone. We've had him once this year already. We lost that game. We did lose the first game he refed with us, but it was one of these weird games when we were losing around the Charlotte games and that Laker game. I think he might have refed one of those games, actually. But Dedrick, overall, our win percentage is 63%, which is top 5 out of all the refs in the league. And the Sixers win 53%. So they have a good winning record with him, too. But 63 to 53 for the Toronto Raptors with the second ref, Dedrick Taylor. The third ref tonight is a junior ref, J.D. Rawls, in his second season out of Baltimore, Maryland, number 80. We had him recently for a 905 game. He's been a crew chief. I think he actually was one of the referees for our championship game at the Winners Showcase Cup against Salt Lake City in Orlando. I think he was one of the refs in one of those important games in Orlando. His favorite TV show is Power. So this is interesting. I think both of them like this show. Yeah, Goebel likes Power, and so does J.D. Rawls. So these guys probably Netflix binging Power, the show Power, in the hotel room, hanging out as refs. I don't know. His favorite movie is The Forge. He likes to listen to Anthony Hamilton. His favorite book is Die with Zero. His favorite meal is shrimp pasta. His favorite app is the Bible. He'd most like to visit the Maldives, and his hidden talent is sign language. Yeah, J.D. Rawls has officiated 7 seasons in the NBA G League, where he has refereed playoff games 6 years in a row, finals games 4 years, and a championship game of the Winners Showcase 3 years. See, that's the thing. I think he was one of the refs in the Winners Showcase. In 2022 and 2023, he was a referee for the championship game of the NBA Summer League in Las Vegas, and he's also refereed the Basketball Africa League finals. So that's interesting. Yeah, J.D. Rawls has spent time over in Basketball Africa League, being a ref over there. I remember seeing him over there, actually. So, yeah, J.D. is a junior ref. He hasn't been around for that many years. And, well, he's a really bad ref for us. Like, his percentage is 38% winning percentage. I think he's like 3 and something. What is the record exactly? Because he's pretty new. It's 3 and 5. We're 3 and 5 under J.D. Rawls, and meanwhile the Sixers are 4 and 6. So it's a 38 to 40 split. So favoring the Sixers, and we have not seen him ref the Raptors this year yet, but he has ref the 905 at least twice. I'm pretty sure he's ref them at least twice this year already. So 38 to 40 is the split for the Sixers with the third ref, J.D. Rawls. Yeah, J.D. Rawls so far in his young referee career has shown a proclivity against the Raptors. And Jason Goebel, the Goebel brothers they're middle refs. They're kind of like can be good or bad to us. And this situation, I think I expect the same kind of thing where the NBA head office wants the refs to try and help the Sixers win. Because they really did last night. I'm going to say this, and Sixers fans could listen to me this morning and say, no, man, they were helping you guys. No, the reason why Sixers fans are trying to say the refs helped us last night is because of the challenges. And this is the thing, Sixers fan. All right, listen, Darko masterfully used both his challenges in the last couple minutes of the fourth quarter or something like that. It was the fourth or the overtime. It was something very crucial time, crunch time. And these were possession arrow challenges where the referees purposefully gave y'all the ball, Philadelphia, when y'all didn't deserve it. And Darko called them on that. Listen, this is where the ref manipulation, the ref hit job didn't take. Because look, Darko could have sat on his laurels and said, yeah, sure, Philadelphia ball. But no, he got that green light going. And each of the three challenges in the crunch time at the end of the game all went in the favor of the Raptors. But the Sixers fans are crying foul. Why did they give them the ball? Oh, this, all that. I'm like, look, you know what? All those challenges went against y'all. And you know why? Because the referees were making bad calls for you guys, and we had to rectify them and right them. And I have to give so much credit. Our coach is a badass. I've seen him in the last week restrain himself from getting a technical instead of going nuclear on the refs just to save us to be able to win a close game. And now I've seen him use the challenges almost to the best ability that you could use a challenge ever in the history of the NBA. Seriously. Those challenges were some of the most important challenges ever called in the Raptors history last night, because those challenges directly led to ability for us to try and win still and get a 1-point victory in overtime last night. You don't challenge those calls. The ball is Phillies, and we just lose. We just lose. So huge credit to Darko. And this is the thing, Mitchell Irvin. You called those calls on purpose wrong. That was out on Aiden Bona. We could see it. We could see it in the arena. And everybody's getting mad at y'all when y'all were really egregiously over trying to help the Sixers win that game in the last 5 minutes and the overtime last night. And at one point, oh my gosh, that travel call on Scotty that Rodney Mott called, absolute horse crap. And I'm going to say it right now. It was under 2 minutes in the game. And when you have this back and forth between Maxey and Barnes and the superstar NBA, this is what they want. They want to see the tete-a-tete back and forth. And, you know, when you give all-star calls to Maxey, then you don't give all-star calls to Scotty. That shows your bias right there, referees. I'm serious. You know, if LeBron James made the same move that Scotty made, where he made the basket and they called a travel on him at the end of the game, they wouldn't have called a travel on LeBron for that, would they? No, they wouldn't. You think they'd call a travel on LeBron in the last 2 minutes of a game? No, they would not. They would ride with it because they don't want to LeBron look bad, right? So Rodney Mott, you're out of pocket for calling a travel on Scotty on a winning play that was not a travel. And if he's a superstar, if he's an all-star, you give him leeway, and you especially don't call a travel on him in crunch time. If he's able to do that, you know, how many people are stepping with extra steps all over the NBA at all kinds of different points in the game right now, all the time? How many people are traveling left and right on NBA games? All the time, people are traveling. Y'all pick and choose when y'all want to call the travel. So, Rodney Mott, why'd you have to call the travel right then? You know what you showed me? You showed me that y'all had a directive from Adam Silver in the league to hurt the Raptors and make them lose, because that is not the right call. That was such a abhorrent call. That was the epitome of telling me, okay, these guys are actively trying to stop us from winning this game, because Scotty just hit a shot that would have put us ahead, and instead of even calling an and one or a foul, he's calling a travel and nulling the basket. It's crazy. It's shady, and I let him hear it. Trust me. When they were doing one of those challenges and Mitchell and Natalie were at the challenge console with the headphones, and Rodney was standing there like this, like the third ref often does. It's not looking at the cartoons. He stayed there like this, and I yelled as loud as I could, and he heard me. He heard me, y'all. Rodney, what are you doing? You don't do that to All-Star. We see what you're doing, Rodney. We see what you're doing. And all the security guys started looking at me like I was crazy, and like they were pointing me out. And then I knew one of the security guys was Mike, and he's the one down near the floor, the bald black gentleman that you always see on the TV with the glasses when the Raptors run out. Well, he's a friend of Steve and I's from when I worked at the arena 25 years ago. And I was yelling like, fuck you, Rodney. Fuck you, Mitch. I did say fuck you. And I maybe shouldn't have said that so loud. But it was that bad with the referees, right? It was that bad. You could feel how bad it was when I was on site. So I was letting them know. And I yelled. I said, Rodney, we see what you're doing, Rodney. We see what you're doing. And Rodney got all They showed him up close on the screen. He was like, "Meh," and then he started wiping his brow like he was nervous. And I was like, and then all of a sudden the calls, like all the challenges start going in the favor of the Raptors. It's like Mitchell Irvin said, the ball went out on Aiden Bona, challenge successful by Toronto. And then he said something stupid. Like at one point he mixed it up when Nick Nurse lost his challenge, when he tried feebly to try and get possession for them, which was obviously off of them. Even Mitchell Irvin showed his bias by saying at the end of the call for the challenge, Toronto has lost their last challenge and all their timeouts. No, Philadelphia has, but you Freudian slipped saying Toronto Raptors lost their challenge. But you were actually saying at that moment that Philadelphia, but whoa, Freudian slip, Mitchell. Why are you saying that? No, we already used both our challenges. They were successful. We don't have any more challenges. But you're going to get up there on the mic and say the challenge is successful for Toronto. Toronto has lost their ability to challenge in all their timeouts. No, we used them already. Nick lost his challenge, and he didn't get a second one because he lost the first one. Yeah, it was crazy, man. Natalie Sago, Scotty Barnes, hello, hi. Let's talk for a second. Oh, let's tee you up, Scotty. Whoa. Because you know why Scotty got that technical, which wasn't ideal. Let's just put it that way. And we really did win this game by the skin of our teeth. Missed free throws. How the hell do we win games shooting threes so bad? You know, it's crazy. We shot worse than Philadelphia in every category last night, and we still won. How did we do this? In some ways, I got to tell y'all how we did this because of our crazy Serbian coach and the way his philosophy is, and what he's doing out there on the court is unheard of and never seen in the basketball world ever. No team ever wins from shooting so bad from three and losing in most categories and still wins games. The Raptors shoot so bad from three, and they have like a 7-0 record. How the hell is that happening? Like, this is crazy. It's so crazy, man. This game is so awesome. This was such an epic game, and I was so happy to share it with Adriana. The people around me, I met some really cool people that were sitting near me last night, Jonathan and other people. The guy was sitting in front of me with a signed Vince Carter jersey and his son. My cousin was at the game. This was the craziest thing. You know, I wasn't even supposed to go to this game 3 days ago. Adriana's like, I want to get out of the house. Will you go to the Raptors game with me on Sunday? I'm like, all right, I'll go. And then I find out that my cousin from Ottawa, Kristen, who's in the picture for this stream today, was in town, and I hadn't seen her in like a decade, y'all. It's crazy. I feel so bad that I hadn't seen my cousin in so long. She was in town with her son and her husband because he had a basketball tournament here in Toronto. And they were going to the game as part of it, and it was so awesome to reunite with her, man. I felt, like I said, I feel so guilty. I hadn't seen her in so long, and that was special right there. It was her first Raptor game, my cousin Kristen, and for some reason, I had this weird power inside of me is saying, you know, we're not going to let the Raptors lose my cousin's first game ever. And I really took it upon myself with my crowd energy last night. That was a battle, y'all. We had to be loud to help them get there. And Scott said it after the game on the mic. He said, this place is special, and these people were loud for us, whether we lose or not. In the years I've played for them, they've always been here for us. And man, I'll get sentimental about this because what I felt last night in the arena was like church for me, man. That place is like so special to me. And when we get together right, Scotiabank Arena, we can make amazing things happen for our team. We didn't give up on them. There's so many nights I go to Scotiabank and I hear the fans give up on them before the game is over, and they let them lose. They just drop the floor out of the cheering and the ability to believe that they could still win. And they just shut up and they sit on their hands and they don't help them when they desperately need it the most. We didn't do that last night. We didn't let that shit happen. And even if the rest were trying to beat us, even if Nick Nurse was pissed off and ornery and yelling and whining and crying, even if the script was not supposed to go the way it did last night, the fans and the team did not let it happen that way. And I'm so proud of Scotiabank last night because we brought it right. We were absolutely a factor that helped that team win last night. Y'all watching it at home last night, you saw how crazy that game was. You saw how loud we got. You saw how playoff atmosphere that was. And that's the thing. There were times at the end of the game where we had letdowns. People were missing shots when we're trying to get back in the fourth quarter and in the overtime, even missing shots when we get up and down. And often, like I said, the Raptors fans will just kind of get dismayed. And sometimes it really shows that they're more educated and they're more through the thick and thin with them. Because in the past, some Raptors fans may have thought, a 5-point lead with 2 minutes to go, oh, they're done. They're going to lose. 4-point lead with 12 seconds to go. Oh, they're going to lose. No, we know now as a fan base that we got to ride or die with them to the bitter end and that they have a shot as long as there's seconds on the clock. As long as there's seconds on, they got to be 1.6 seconds on the clock. Manual quickly for 3, we win. That's the thing. Raptors fans, Raptors crowd at the arena, y'all are maturing. Y'all are leveling up because you're getting it. And some of the things that I've been saying on this channel for a couple of years is we can't let down for them. We've got to come every game correct and cheer like I do. And if we do that, more of us every single game, we will win more games like this because we will literally help will them to wins. Because that's what we did last night. We willed them to that win because they were doomed. They were trying to take them down, and the crowd stayed there for them. I'd never been in that kind of situation at Scotiabank Air Canada Center the whole 30 years of the Raptors. I've never seen them beat a ref hit job in the moment in the last couple minutes of the game. It is beautiful, man. These are cheers of joy, man. I've never seen this. I have never seen the Raptors do that. And I thank everybody who has had the game last night. Adriana's lucky person. Adriana's so lucky. She brings so much luck to our games, guys. And we could not lose at my cousin Kristen's first Raptors game. I was like, hell no, we're not doing this. And we got loud and we made sure it happened. And crowd, we did our part. We did our part. I'm so proud of you guys. And my voice is all fucked up this morning. Yeah, it is. Man, I'm tired too, man. I couldn't wind down after that. My adrenaline was crazy, and I came home and I watched all the highlights. I watched as much highlights and listened to as many interviews as I could after I got home. And did everything that I do to get ready for the show. And man, I couldn't come down. I was up at like almost 4 this morning. So I may be a little rambling and a little weird right now, and I'm still kind of running on the energy and the adrenaline from last night. So I apologize. All right, let me do a couple things, and we'll get into the comments here. All right, let's get going. All right, we got lots to talk about. I know you guys are going to want to talk. If anybody wants to call me, you guys can call me on the phone, and I'll put you on the air today. James is saying this: 3 stars, Scotty, Colin, and Elijah. Yeah, you got the first 2 right. That's for sure. My stars of the game for last night, we'll start with Scotty. Let's go over a little bit about what happened with Scotty last night. It's very interesting. Once again, Scotty Barnes didn't come into this league wanting to be a power forward or a center, but he is. He is. That's the natural position for him. There were early times on Twitch when Scotty, after he was a rookie, and we were hanging out with him on Twitch. I told Scott, I said, Scott, when one day you're going to go and live down low and you're going to just eat. You're going to eat. Nobody can stop you in the post. I could see the early signs of this when he was a rookie. And I was like, man, you guys stop shooting threes. You guys start going in the post. You guys start doing the things that you can do down there because that stuff is winning stuff. That is stuff that you could be unstoppable doing. And we're seeing it more and more. He's really kind of like getting way more confident with the turnarounds and the muscling in to get these really high percentage shots, which is absolutely such a winning basketball kind of thing. In some ways, Scotty is looking more and more like Giannis in this respect because Giannis kind of muscles his way around on the court, and with the combination of length, speed, and size and strength, he can get like baskets against most opponents in every situation. And the thing about Scott right now is he's going in the fire. Like he's going into areas where people like Andre Drummond and Kelly Oubre, and he's coming through unscathed, and he's basically throwing it down. Now, when he worries about the referees respecting him and giving the calls, that's where he gets distracted and he can mess up. I say this, Scott, and this is what I was saying from the crowd last night when Natalie and him were getting into it. Now, Scott got the technical because he did a gesture with his arms. He's like, oh, he did something like that. And Natalie took offense to it and called the tech on him real quick. And RJ came off the bench, and even like it was funny. I think Oubre was even trying to get in between Scotty and Natalie just to kind of help Scott out, which is weird. Why are you trying to help, Kelly Oubre? But I told Scotty, I was yelling from the crowd, I say, Scotty, just shut up. Who cares? Go get the win. That's the best revenge. I just say, get the win, Scott. Just shut up. Just stop yelling at Natalie. It's stupid. Don't do this, right? And they figured it out, and they did it, and they got the win. That's the best revenge right there, Scott. It's like, don't let your ego in the moment get into like an argument one-on-one with one of the refs. That's not going to help us at all. What you guys do, and Elijah did this to a T last night. This was amazing. Elijah Martin, you do have a future in the NBA if you keep going on this path like you did last night. I'm going to say that. He did something in the clutch time that he got a foul. And what did Elijah do? He walked up next to Rodney Mott, senior ref who's been in the league for over 30 years. And he asked him, sir, politely and respectfully, may I ask you what I did wrong in that play? And I saw Rodney in the arena explain to Elijah Martin exactly what he did. And he said, oh, this and this. And then Elijah said, thank you. And I appreciate that. And I could, this is what young players should do when they come in the league. The referees want to know that you want to play the game right. And when you do things on the court and you don't necessarily like their call, you go and ask them how you could do better politely. That goes a huge way with setting up the tone of your relationship with the referees for the rest of your career. It really does. You could come at them in animosity and yelling and get mad at them as a young player, and you screw up your whole career with them after that because you have a reputation. And if you come in and do the opposite and you come up to the ref, show respect, and ask for clarification or even instruction on how to play better to the liking of the referees, and they actually see you do it and implement it, they will be like, I like this kid. I like this Martin kid. He's listening to me, and he's making adjustments, and he's respecting the game. That's the route to go, seriously. And with the Raptors in particular, we have a team of guys that learn fast on the quick, and they make adjustments on the quick. Like Scotty was lauding Colin Murray-Boyles for this, saying that like he's a rookie and he's very green, but also he's a very astute, high IQ player that is learning at a very rapid rate. And they're actually amazed at how quickly he can implement the things they're asking him to do moment by moment throughout the game. Like they're literally on the court, and Scotty and the other guys are telling Colin how to adjust, and he's doing it to a T. So this kind of stuff, the Raptors, if they're able to adjust to a T from the coaching and their teammates, they could do it with the refs too. And that gets you favor with them. In fact, I'm telling you right now, if you have cerebral, smart players like we do that are listening and they're respectful, they will get so much more with that than yelling and waving their arms and getting all crazy. That's why I haven't totally agreed with Scotty's approach with the referees, because he does come at them emotionally and really emotively. And that hasn't helped him in his career in some ways. That really hasn't. But yeah, amazing stuff, man. Amazing stuff. Scotty, his stat line is as such. He got another 30-point game. He doesn't have a lot of these in his career. It's kind of crazy. You'd think Scotty has tons of 30-point games. He doesn't even have a 40-point game, I don't think. So it's like 31 points for Scott in 43 minutes. He had 20 at halftime, but he only got 11 in the second half in the overtime. I was like, man, he had 20 at halftime. And I was talking to the guy next to me. He was like, man, this dude could go for 40. He could get like a big, huge number tonight. This is partly because Scotty, with no Brandon and no RJ, is like, well, what do you think's going to happen? Scotty's going to get to score a lot more. So the promise was there with the 20-point first half. But he went, once again, there was this weird period in the third where we kind of went away from what works. We got outscored doubly. It was the worst quarter of the game for us. And Darko talked about it after game, saying that third quarter, everything was good in this game except for the third quarter. It was just really dreadful and awful. And that was a quarter where Scotty barely scored any points. I think he got a 3 and that's it. It was like he got to 23 by the end of the third quarter. Well, is that kind of connected? That maybe the Raptors having a futile third quarter where it didn't work really well was because they went away from Scott? That they should have kept feeding him and trying to do the stuff that he was doing so powerful around the lane? Because I don't like that. That this is a trend that Scott will do since he was a rookie, where there are periods of time in the game where he becomes disappearing. That he's just like kind of like not involved as it presently engaged as he is at other times of the game. And I feel like that's part of why we suffered in the third right there. Yeah, Scotty's shooting was amazing. 10 and 19. He's really, really got a nice touch and he's finishing through contact. And I love the fact that, like, look, you can't rely on the whistle to get to the line to get the points. You need to make the shot because those referees are not your friend and they're not going to bail you out like a normal superstar in this league. Unfortunately, Scott. But the more time, the more reputation, and the more accomplishments, the more accolades you get, the more often they will as time goes on. And it's a little bit better this year than it was last year, isn't it, Scott? So that's just how it is. That's the NBA school of hard knocks and learning how to get respect from the refs. And well, in some ways they didn't totally respect you to the level that you should have. But you know what? You made them respect them more by forcing a win for the Raptors, a 1-point win against the ref hit job. Against the ref hit job. Yeah. 1 for 4 from 3. He did hit a 3 when he was open. It was kind of just like part of the play and the protocol was there and he was wide open. It was a second shot on a possession and the ball came out to him and he's just wide open at the elbow and he had to take it and he's drained it. It was good. 10 for 12 at the free throw line. These free throws have been huge for Scott this year. His free throw shooting is one of the best on the team. He's one of these guys, when he gets the free throw line, we're not worried about him usually missing. In fact, one of his 2 lost misses last night, 10 and 12, was the very intentional miss at the end of the game, which was kind of a funny story in itself, considering that Scotty wasn't sure if he should do it or not. And at the last second, he kind of just loved it on purpose. I mean, yeah, do it. Of course, much to the horror and dismay of Nick Nurse, who thought he would get another shot. But no, Scotty did the cerebral smart move and bricked it off the backboard so that the not even a second would expire and the Raptors just win. I mean, that's the winning play. That's the right play. I don't know why anybody would question him making the last free throw or not. Like, why didn't you make it? No, you needed to do that because honestly, it's stupid to make the free throw and give the possession arrow to the Sixers and allow them a last second shot to beat you. No, that was absolutely the right play, even though it was only a 1-point margin. But how the hell are they going to get the ball if you shoot the ball off there and the second goes out? So, yeah, that was huge. I was a little worried on that play that they wouldn't give the foul shots to Scotty because this is a huge trend in the game last night. Even though we shot way more, we shot almost 10 more foul shots than them in the game last night. There was a lot of side outing the Raptors and giving free throws to the Sixers. It's like all the fouls, it seemed like, oh, the Sixers going to the line, Maxey the line, Edge come to the line. And then when we would go to the basket, it was always not in the act of shooting, and it was side out, foul on the floor, side out, side out. That's a ref manipulation. That's a way that they can kind of mess with your momentum and kind of shape points from you, honestly, because they'll do that. They'll do this crazy thing where you'll be actually very guaranteed to make the basket, and they know you will, but they will preemptively call a foul on you side out with a foul before the shot. The refs have been doing this recently, which is really weird and interesting because they didn't do this before. It's a proactive defense to the Raptors scoring points. They know we have a matchup and we're just about to eat, and maybe that somebody's about to make it. They'll call a foul really quick before the action of the offense just to side out and screw up that matchup, screw up that advantage that the Raptors found in their offensive mix. Seriously, you pay attention to what I just said. You'll see them do this at least every game we play. Seriously. They did it to Brandon right off the bat in a game recently. Like right away, Brandon should have had an and one, but they wiped it and they said, no, it was a foul on the floor and they side outed it. If it was another superstar, they would have given it. It would have been LeBron and one. You know what I'm saying? 7 rebounds, 8 assists, 4 turnovers for Scotty, a plus 15. Yeah. I mean, you go and do a couple more of those stats, it's a triple-double. And again, for Scotty. Colin Murray-Boyles is my second star of the game for last night. They're a tag team. These guys are getting noticed now by NBA fan general around the league that, oh, maybe these guys are a nasty team. Colin and Scotty, some similarities, but also some good differences too. You know, I would say Scotty's more of an all-round dynamic player than Colin, but Colin may be a little more grittier and a little bit more physical. Let's just put it that way, which is interesting. Colin, 42 minutes. This may have been the most he's played in a game so far in his NBA career. 17 points on 7 of 12 shooting. He was 3 of 3 at the free throw line, 15 rebounds. So a great big double-double. And with 7 offensive rebounds, Darko is saying we're starting to get used to having this kind of a rebounding talent on our team, which is fantastic. And he's a big part of the reason why we won. You know, when you shoot worse than the other team, and how do you beat a team if you shoot worse than them from field goal, free throw, and 3-point? Because we shot worse than all of them. Well, you get extra possessions, and that's from offensive rebounds, and that's how you can win a game like this. All right, we got Neil on the call today. Blackhawk, good morning to you. How are you today?
Good morning, Lex. How you doing, brother?
I'm pretty good, man. Let's make sure your volume's up. All right, I'll ask you to maybe speak up.
I gotta try and speak not too heavily. I'm in a house with other people, so
so you're at work or something. You shouldn't be talking.
Well, I'm working remotely, and then I can't talk too long. I got a meeting at 10:30.
Oh, okay, all right. Yeah, so what a great game last night, eh?
Phenomenal game, and you're seeing Darko tapping into guys that are more defensive. So you're gonna see, you see, we have a good roster, but the challenge is that the front office has to do what they have to do, and in doing so, they have to highlight players, and that's why we haven't seen much of this. The way that this went down last night is because some of those players had to take a backseat to the players that they need to highlight. Right, even some of the things like we're looking at, and you know, a lot of people are angry. They're angry unnecessarily. The office can only address things in a certain time, so you have to play these players and give them a chance to make their careers better. But it comes at a sacrifice. It's our defense. That's what gets sacrificed because we have defensive players on this team. You saw some of the best lineups last night, defensive wise, and they could still go deeper.
I get what you're saying. The general point of what you're trying to say here. I mean, I was going to get to kind of this subject at some point in the stream, and it's basically talking about winners. And you know, this is the thing. The thing with the Raptors last night, it's like, why would you play such a small lineup with Shed, Quickly, and Martin at the end of the game? And why would you not get burned for that, right? Why would you not get burned for that? Well, you didn't. You know why it works, and that lineup works. Those 3 small guys with Colin and Scotty, because you've got a combination of 2 super talented big guys that are like stock machines. They're getting steals and blocks like crazy. Yeah. And then you got these 3 guys. Now, the thing is, Shed and Elijah are very similar. And Quickly should be in this category too. Seriously. All 3 of them are winners. That's the thing. And the thing
winners,
about,
but you gotta look at the way that Shed and Isaiah are coming from it.
It's Elijah. Okay. Make sure you say his name.
Elijah, but the way they're coming at it, they're defensively minded. They're thinking about winning by
but I'm going to include Quickly with this, and I'm not talking about defense right now. I'm talking about winning. I know you're saying defense.
Mind. So he's more offensive.
What I want to say is, let me just finish the point real quick. I'm wondering if, like, and this is what Bobby, like, you know, he has an archetype. He wants players that have a chip on their shoulder and they're kind of winning kind of guys, like we've seen with Fred VanVleet, Kyle Lowry, those kind of guys from before. That, you know, Darko after the game gave a lot of credit to the front office. He said the part of the reason why we did this tonight and what we're doing is I appreciate Bobby Webster and the players he brings me to have on this team. And Bobby has an archetype to get these winners like Elijah and Jamal. And I'm wondering, like, when you collect a bunch of guys that are successful and win, like Jamal did at Houston and Elijah did at Florida and Florida Atlantic, do you compound winning? you compound winning mentality because you have so many of those guys, and it just like multiplies. Do you know what I'm
Right,
saying? Like,
right.
I'm wondering
And
about that.
you can add Chucky to that. That's another one.
Yeah,
But
but
same
I'm not even
prototype.
sure if Chucky's going to even play ever again in the NBA at this point. Honestly, it's
No,
sad.
after he
No, I'm
heals.
just saying because this is an injury at a very bad time in his career, and he's going to miss the rest of the season. And in some ways, he's going to have a Marquise Noel situation where he may be in limbo. And
I want
Shamshay,
to
same
see.
thing. I mean, if Shamshay, the kind of prospect he is, he got injured in the middle of the season. I know you have high hopes for him, but I wouldn't hold your breath just in case on Chucky, because when you get hurt like this in your rookie year, it can really screw your whole career up. Let's just put it that
I
way.
would say as long as they keep him on the two-way, he's safe. If they
Well, we'll
take the
see.
two-way from him, then I would say you're 100%
Yeah,
right.
we'll see. Like, that is really the
two-way's
indicator of whether
protection.
he's in the plan still, is if they
Yeah.
switch the two-way off of him all of a sudden and he's like in a
Yeah.
weird limbo in the NBA because he's
Well,
hurt.
there's no safety once you lose the
Yeah,
two-way. There's no safety.
then you're like DJ Carton playing for Birmingham Squadron, because it's the
Yeah.
same situation. You gonna say he's much better than DJ? I don't know how much better he is than DJ Carton. And DJ Carton,
Actually,
Carton is a similar situation. He got hurt and then he had to go. Marquise Noel, he got hurt and he had to go. Ron Harper Jr., he got hurt and he had to go. So
but look at the team, because if you even look at, remember the 905 won last night too, and they won decisively.
yeah, but Chucky wasn't playing.
Yeah, exactly. But what happens is you look at the standard of that team now. They know to play
That's
the
the
same way, right? It's not just the coach, because if you have the examples,
No, it's
the other
mostly
guys
the
can
coach.
follow. I follow what I'm saying.
Okay.
If you have the examples, the other guys know what the standard is, because it's just the coach says it, but you need guys to set that, follow that standard and set it up so that the other guys know what to follow.
Yeah, no, I get that. I get that. You know what? You're right with your original point that Chucky's that kind of player like those other guys. I was just my clarification was, man, nothing's guaranteed for Chucky at this point. Let's just put it that way.
I can agree with that, and the only thing we can say is if he keeps the two-way, then he's safe. But at the moment they yank it, we know what's going on.
That's the sign. Yeah, that's the sign for sure. All right, Neil, you want any more last points real quick, and then I want to move on with the stream.
I would say the other guys, they can see, they see last night how defense is good. They know what to follow. They just have to improve upon it. Like Darko does have to learn to penalize these guys in practice.
Well, I don't know if he does that.
But that's what I'm saying. That really should be the standard.
Well, we don't know. Hey, maybe he has them running suicides.
Well, what I'm saying, penalize him in the sense of saying, hey, if you really want to touch that floor, you have to elevate yourself in practice before you can get to that floor. You know what I mean? Because you got so many better players right now, and this is what's helping Scotty out. Because if Scotty has guys that are as defensively minded as he is, he doesn't have to do it all by himself. This is why CMB looks good.
Yeah.
This is why
I get that. We want dog factor. We want a lot of guys that have dog factor, and Scotty recognizes it in these guys.
It makes it easier. And then think about it, right? Look at
RJ.
Not
that is easier. It's just hard all around, but you get a better chance to win.
Right, but you look at RJ. People are looking at and saying, well, RJ's improved. Well, when you have a team that plays better aggressively, defensively, it makes it easier for you to adopt it, because you now have something to help you move to the next level. Sometimes you may not be on the right team, and that's why you aren't flourishing as much as you're supposed to be flourishing.
Sure.
But come here and you have guys who are better in that way, you'll start to get better. That's what people got to look at instead of saying, well, this guy is terrible defense. No. He's in a different system, and that system is better for the guy.
I would say that about RJ. Yeah, that's definitely true about his.
I would say it even about. I would even say it about Quick. As much as people are angry, he's in a better place to correct the problems he has. And he did show some of it last night. He did show some of it, but he also showed some of the improvements last night.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm gonna get to Quick on my stars, and I'll handle talking about him more specifically.
When he darted and handed it off to CMB under
that was amazing. That was the winning play right there.
That's what we want more from him. That's what I'm saying. He did show some of that.
He drew the defense, and he did that twice in a row. And both those baskets. Both
There you
those
go. So
baskets were huge in overtime.
those
Huge.
were the right plays. Those are the
Yeah.
right plays.
Well,
The
that's
wrong
what Emmanuel's
play,
trying to do. I think that people
right?
label him with all these weird stuff and what they say, and they don't really know who he is.
Well, what happened is they're only recalling the bad plays. They're not even giving credit for the good
Exactly.
plays,
That's true.
right?
And this is the
So
thing.
you got to
Quickly's
go
going to have
both.
bad plays because he's a
Yeah.
very freelance kind of player that's going to try and do like daring shit.
Well, I don't know any player that goes from good to worse. It's really worse to good, right? So he has to have his
No, that's
bad
not always true.
no.
In
Typically,
the NBA,
that's the
that's
way
not
it is.
always true. Trust me.
Typically that's the way it goes. You usually get better as you go along, right? When you put in the work, usually you go better. That's the natural progression. And so when we look at quickly, whatever faults he has, naturally, if he keeps working at it, they will diminish.
Okay.
Right. That's what I'm looking at, because I don't really care about the odd person that goes from good to worse. That's the anomaly. The
Okay.
majority of people go from worse to good, but you got to put in the work, right? So in putting in the work, you have to allow quickly to put in the work. Instead of super dumping, like there's dumping and then there's super dumping, and I think it's super dumping is what he gets. Give the guy the opportunity to get better, because it doesn't help you if he gets worse.
Right.
Right.
That's something I've been consistently saying in the last couple of months. Is like we should all be rooting for all the Raptors to do well, because it's not in our interest for them to be busts or to be fails or anything like that. Raptors fans, if you're truly a fan of the team, you root for the players and you don't dump on them and try and toxically make them worse with your bullshit. Yeah. All right, we got to wrap it up, Neil. This is dragging on too long.
Yeah. And just for them to be constructive.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. I think that Darko's a development coach, and he gets the best out of his players, and he gets more and more out of their players. And in some ways, the vision of Scott is something he had never seen or thought of, and Darko in some ways is controlling it. And Scotty is absolutely trusting him because he loves the results he's getting.
Yeah.
All right,
Neil, I want to jump off. I got 10 more minutes. Well, I got 8 more minutes.
Yeah, you got a meeting, man. You should be prepping for that. All right, my guy. Well, thanks for calling, Neil. Let's go Raptors.
Let's go Raptors.
That's right. Awesome. All right, we got a call today. If any of the other regular callers that have the phone number want to call, you're welcome to call. Interesting stuff. All right, back to the stats. Let me just go real quick. With Colin was who I was looking at right this second. Colin Murray-Boyles, he had the 15 rebounds, which is getting the extra shots, and that is a huge factor in how we win last night. 3 assists, 2 turnovers, 3 steals, and 3 blocks, which was huge. Samson Folk asking in the media room about how Colin and Elijah had so many steals and blocks between the two of them as rookies. 7 steals between the two of them and 5 blocks. You're getting good, really good, heady defensive play from 2 rookies on the Raptors right now. Is fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. My third star of the game last night is Shed. Shed elevated his game. In some ways, he was extremely clutch and important to get us to the overtime, hitting some very important threes. He made the tying shot to get us into overtime. It was really kind of a weird shot. Elijah talked about it after the game, saying that it was weird. Like when Colin directed the ball to Shed there, he was like, "What? You're going there?" And well, Shed's got a nice little teardrop floater that came from the baseline from the side, and it was money, and it went in. And that's kind of what I was just talking about with Blackhawk, is that the winning factor. Can you compound winners on your team? Can you stack your team with a bunch of guys that just have winning mentalities and from winning places? And can that winning just get infectious and become like a very tangible, real thing in the NBA? Yes, I believe that's true. And I think that, Bobby has an archetype of player that he's targeting, and he's getting them, and it's paying off. Honestly, it's paying off. Shed and Elijah are very similar from their backgrounds in excellence in NCAA. And you see it on the court in mayhem moments at the end of the game where good winning plays have to happen. Well, these guys seem to be getting into the right spots and making good things happen, whether it's a rebound here, a steal here. Elijah at one point had this really important trap where he trapped the Sixers and got the ball loose late in the game. That was absolutely a great steal and change of possession. And then you got Shed hitting very important shots. And this is a crazy thing. Shed's been kind of getting open like a couple feet beyond the 3-point line, and he's not scared. He's take that long three and he's swishing them. He really worked on his 3-point shot from last year. His shooting at the 3-point line is way better this year, and it's a lot more dependable, which I'm really, really digging. 37 minutes for Shed. He got another one of his career highs. It seems like he's been doing this. He's done this 3 times this season where he gets his career high 22 points, 7 of 15 from the field, 2 of 7 from three, 6 of 8 at the free throw line. He missed those free throws early. And I was like, what are you doing, Shed? Missing free throws. Because there was some missed free throws last night that pissed me off. And it did kind of matter with the margin, obviously. Like, look, we just barely won by the skin of our teeth. And, early free throw misses early in the game, they can matter, especially if there's a lot of them. And the Raptors as a team, they shot 74% at the free throw line, missed 10 points at the free throw line. So there's a little bit of cleaning up there that'll make it easier for you to win if you make your free throws. 1 rebound, 6 assists, and a turnover of minus 13 for Shed. It's just very clutch stuff. When it mattered the most, Shed is making stuff happen. And honestly, there was so much quick Shed last night. So much quickly and Shed out there together. And I think Grange asked this after the game to Darko. Is Martin playing good mean that you can play more Jamal and quickly together? And he's like, I don't know if that really has anything to do with it. It's like, I like that lineup, though. It's weird. It's a small lineup, but it's a very bulldog kind of lineup. And I think it's interesting because, like, quickly has a whole other dimension with both those guys are out there. But, we can't do that against a lot of teams because it is too small. But, man, did it work last night, having the 3 of them out there together. The 3 amigos. That's right. Yeah, my 4-star of the game for the Raptors last night is quickly. A lot of people will be like, pointing out his mistakes like Blackhawk was talking about. And it's what's the point, man? This guy's adding up to helping us win. And in some ways, you got to have a guy like Fred that's kind of taking a lot of daring shots, that is daring to try and get scores for us to keep us going. And that's daring. In some ways, that's ballsy. In some ways, he's putting himself out there vulnerable to the criticism and the fans turning on him if he's not successful. But he's got the big balls like Fred VanVleet. And in some ways, that means you dare to take the big shot that matters. And quickly is somebody, I'm glad he does that. Because, even though his shot seems chaotic, even though it seems like it's abrupt, he actually has a lot of training with his shot. And it's weird because he has weird footwork with his shot. Like, he'll run up to his shot and he'll take it off a really weird, like, foot placement. And, like, he doesn't always have to have his feet, like, lined up, like, across from each other. He can have 1 foot forward and he's shooting like this. And it's really unorthodox. And some of it looks like it's bad mechanics. That's part of the reason why people think he's so, like, kind of careless. It's not. Trust me. This guy has put in the work, and he's put up so many different shots from so many different places and angles and distances that he really is like that. And we need to trust Emmanuel more and more, just like that last second shot he made last week. Just keep trusting Emmanuel. And he's going to have points where he looks bad on the court. Trust me, he's going to have a bad turnover. He may take an ill-advised shot and everybody may groan. But let him, humor him, because there's going to be, besides that, there's going to be a lot of things he's doing out there to add up to help us win. Sure, Maxey absolutely torched our guards last night. And quickly, he was talking trash to all of them. And Elijah apparently talks a lot of trash, apparently. We found this out in on his YouTube channel, and also they were talking about it in the post game, that Elijah was kind of amping up Tyrese. And we could see Maxey John a lot at the end of the game. That was because Martin was talking trash. And they were really talking a lot of garbage, like back and forth. And Maxey took offense to it. And that's part of the reason why Maxey started going off. Like, the third quarter belonged to Tyrese Maxey in a way. It's actually really masterful the way he was doing these, like, mid-range turnarounds and kind of like getting to the basket and these little floaters, just barely making it over people. And Elijah had to guard him on an island a couple times near the end, and Maxey absolutely beat him. But that's the kind of stuff that a young rookie like Elijah Martin has to learn, that this is the level of the NBA. And this is how it is. This is how it is, man. This is how it is. But quickly, 40 minutes, 20 points, 6 of 22 shooting. Sure, you could have shot better. But you know what? He made shots that mattered and counted, and all 20 of his points mattered to getting the 1 point victory, right? 2 of 8 from three, 6 of 9 at the free throw line. He missed a couple of free throws. I was like, that's not normal quick where he misses free throws. 5 rebounds, 7 assists, 2 turnovers, and 4 steals for Emmanuel Quickly, a plus 13. So adding to winning is Quickly. Yeah, no, I stand with my point guard, and I feel like he should have been allowed some breathing room with Raptors fan nation because he got that game winner the other day. So people should be giving him more respect and allowing him a little bit more room for error because of things like that. My last star of the game is Elijah. I'll go ahead and give the fifth star to Elijah. 30 minutes for him, 9 points on 3 of 11 shooting. See, this is the thing, man. It was frustrating the hell out of me. Elijah got a lot of shots late in the game in crunch, and he was not hitting them. He had some wide open threes that just didn't go in. And it's annoying because these were opportunities where these possessions were really, really important. And I didn't necessarily agree with him taking some of these shots. But in some ways, it's also good development because he's in that pressure situation. He sees the level of it all. And well, he gets some confidence because he does make a few of the shots, if not most of them. 3 of 11. Yeah, it's tough. He missed all 3 of his 3-point attempts, 3 of 4 at the free throw line. That was crucial because he did get to the line at an important time and he did make the free throws when it mattered. 8 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 turnover, 4 steals, and 2 blocks, a -8. Yeah, in some ways, that's not normally a stat line that I would give credit to with a star. But because of the X factors, the leadership, the winning, like we've talked about, the winning factor, and the ability to try and do the best thing for the team in crunch time in those situations, that's getting recognition from me. And like Elijah said after the game, he wants to do so well on the Raptors that they'll have to drag him off of the Raptors roster. It's not that he doesn't want to play a 905 ever again, but yeah, if he doesn't have to, he will just play on the Raptors if he can. We'll just have to see how it goes. I mean, this is really a door opening last night for him. The last couple games with him getting minutes that are meaningful and him not sinking, he's swimming with the depth of the challenge is really kind of getting a lot of things. And kind of like what Blackhawk just said on the phone call, there may be a changing of who's on our bench as far as who's going to help us with winning and defense better than some of the guys who have been getting rotation minutes right now. And we know who we're talking about. We don't have to spell it out. And, that's probably very likely, especially if Elijah has a winning factor. So that's it. We'll go over the rest of the guys real quick. Since I've got the box score up here, Jacoby Walter got hurt very early in the game. So his stat line is very scant. 5 minutes, 2 points, 1 of 3, over 2 from 3. And he had an assist, no turnovers, a +3. That's too bad. I really hope that Jacoby's not that hurt and he barely misses any time. When I saw him leaving the court, I was like, oh, man, that sucks. But that really did open the door for Elijah to do some of the things he did. Sandro Mamu did not score last night, which is weird. He's been so steady this year. And the only guy off our bench averaging double digits. 18 minutes, 0 points. Missed all 3 of his shots, including 2 threes, 1 rebound, 2 assists, 1 turnover, 1 steal, a -17. This may have been the worst game that Sandro's played for the Raptors, statistics-wise. But you know what? It doesn't matter. We won. He's a part of the team, so he can feel that feeling. And he's been such a huge addition and helpful to the Raptors. If he has a dud and we still win by 1 over the Sixers in overtime in an epic game, I'm not mad at him. Jamison Battle is struggling still from 3. He missed both his 3-point shots, 2 of 6 overall, 5 points in 15 minutes. And he also missed 2 free throws, which I'm like, this doesn't look good, man. When guys like Battle and Grady are missing open, easy stuff, it's like y'all are shooters. Y'all should be pinpoint. Mark Price shot like 95% from the free throw line. You guys should be like 95% free throw shooters, Grady and Jamison. So yeah, do better. Come on, Jamison. Those points matter a lot. 2 rebounds, 1 turnover for a Battle with a +9. I also like this is one of the big differences between Battle and Grady is the size. You have Battle out there. He's the 3-point threat, but also you see him mixing it up in the lane and getting successful with offensive putbacks and getting second chance shots, getting in there and like using his muscle and actually battling in there, getting a little bit more muscle on our lineup. And he showed that last night in the middle of the fray with the Sixers. That he had some nice cuts, and he's had some nice dunks in recent games too, from cutting to the basket. So that's good. AJ Lawson got in for a bit, 10 minutes, 2 points on 1 of 4 shooting. That play where Quick threw him a lob. It was his basket. That was pretty. That was very, very pretty. I love that. I like to see AJ get in the game. I was worried he wouldn't because they were really doting on Elijah, but he did find minutes in the second half. He did miss both his threes, 2 rebounds, 1 turnover, 2 steals. AJ being a factor, getting some steals out there in 10 minutes. Abaji did make an appearance. He's not totally on the DMP list because of maybe the trade deadline. 15 minutes for Oshai, 6 points on 3 of 4 shooting. Missed the only 3 he had. 6 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 turnover, 1 block, a -2. So not bad for Abaji in little short stint. Not a horrible line. And then Grady, 11 minutes, 2 points on 1 of 4 shooting. Had a wide open 3, missed it. 1 rebound, 1 turnover, -4. Grady's got to be going through it mentally, man. Like he's got to understand, like, oh, man, it's so tough. This league is so tough, man. And it sucks because in his 3rd year, a lot of my fears for him before he even got drafted by us are coming true to a degree. That this game is not easy. This game is a men's game, and this is like a big, big league, and there's a lot to it that is tough. We see Grady attacking the rim with a big dunk, and he gets blocked. That dunk, it goes in Kansas. Nobody's stopping you in Kansas. You attacking the baseline and dunking like that, but this is the NBA. This is a whole other level of compete and challenge. And sad but true, you're going to compete against people in basketball, and you're going to find levels that you hit your head on. And then you got to go back to the drawing board. You got to reassess what can you do as a player to get better, or you got to just assess that this may be my limit as a player in my professional career. This is the hit. I'm hitting my head on the ceiling of what I'm going to be able to do. I don't know. I can't say this for Grady still. There's a lot of potential and opportunity for him, but as Blackhawks said, maybe the opportunity for him is better fit on another team. I don't know. I don't know what would get him right. In some ways, I feel like half of what's dealing with Grady is mental. That in some ways he was obscured and there wasn't as much pressure on him, and he was able to flourish and make shots and kind of go in the flow of the game. But now this year he's a little bit more exposed, and it maybe it's getting a little bit more shaken his confidence. And it's tough, man, because you can see this. It's like sink or swim. And in some ways, Grady's sinking. And in some ways, I want him to get this going and figure this out. Little things will matter more than being huge and ostentatious. If you just do the little things and you continue to do them, Grady, you're going to be all right. It wasn't totally all negative yesterday, but man, I could see you were deflated out there. I could see you were deflated. No Jonathan Mobo, no Garrett Temple. And and on the other side, let's give a praise to Tyrese Maxey. 38 points in 45 minutes, 13 and 27, 10 of 12 at the free throw line. Just a very money player, man, a top-notch player. Honestly, if Quickly gets anywhere near Maxey, we will really, really be very happy. But in a lot of ways, they're a very different player. Maxey is, man, in some ways, I didn't like Maxey as much last night as I have in the past. He's always been the Sixer I've kind of respected and liked. But he was very verbal last night and very cocky. And in some ways, he was annoying because he couldn't miss. He was very annoying for that. He was. VJ Edgecombe didn't shoot so well, but he did hit a big 3 late to help the Sixers stay in the game. Let's see who else on the other side should we know. That's really it. The other guys were, could have been a lot worse, but they didn't. Quentin Grimes and Kelly Oubre with 13 points each. But yeah, that's part of why we won, is because the Sixers were a one-man show to a degree, and we had contributors coming from all kinds of different places. Scotty does his thing, but Colin does his thing, Shed does his thing. All 3 of those guys got over 20 points. And alas, the only scorer that was big time for Philly was Maxey. Edgecombe, if he had made more of his shots, maybe he would have gotten close to 30 points, but he didn't. And that's good defense by the Raptors. The 3-point shooting by the Raptors was so bad, 16% from three. How do you win a game when you only make 5 threes out of 32 shots? Well, I'm going to tell you guys the secret to Darko's success. It's crazy, man. On the team stats, I'm going to just go right into them. Sorry. I know I'm ignoring the comments right now, but I will get through all the comments today still, too. I promise you. We did shoot worse than them field goals wise. We did shoot worse than them 3-point wise. We did shoot worse than them at the free throw line. We out rebounded them by 4, but this is the key place where we won. It's the assist to turnover ratio. This has been a big stat I've been keying on all year long. When we do these reactions, I like to check in on how the Raptors did with assist to turnover. And that is the stat that's winning us the games right now because it's crazy. We're so connected. In fact, it was a classic battle of two Raptors coaches. Nick Nurse's MO, we know it. It's a frenetic, aggressive, foul a lot defense that overplays itself. We did the same thing with our team for many years. And maybe not very good connectiveness on offense overall. A lot of one-on-one isolation, a lot of just setting up Maxi, and not a lot of cultivation of generating shots from ball movement. This has been one of the biggest gripes that we had on this channel when Nick was our coach a couple years ago, was that the ball just doesn't move around. And it's very indicative of the assist to turnover ratio story of last night. Because listen, the Raptors, they had 29 assists, which we're usually getting around 30, and we had only 15 turnovers. So that's a 2-to-1 ratio, right? That's almost twice as many assists to turnovers. Well, what did the Sixers do last night? And this is the key stat that killed them where they lost. They had 11 assists. They had 11 assists the whole entire game, just 11. And they had 22 turnovers. So they had a 1-to-2 assist to turnover ratio instead of a 2-to-1 like we did, the inverse. So every assist they had 2 turnovers going the other way. This was like one of the worst games for the Sixers this season for turning the ball over. So that's a testament to the defensive acumen and the way that the Raptors are playing. We're third in the league for defensive rating right now, behind San Antonio and not San Antonio, behind Oklahoma City and Detroit. We're the third best defensive rated team in the league, and that's part of causing all these turnovers. And then Nick Nurse having such a stagnant offensive scheme that just doesn't share the ball. Yeah, that's the key stat right there. The fact that we're 2-to-1 on our assisted turnover ratio and they're 1-to-2. That's the key stat right there. That tells you why we won right there. That right there. That's it. Yeah. Turnovers really, really important. Fast break points, we did get +7 on fast break. And in the paint, we beat them +14, 68-54. So that's important stuff right there. Really, really crazy game. Really, really fun game to be at. And like I said, the crowd really came through by the end. Really, really did. Yeah. Yeah. James is saying, I like what I've seen from Elijah. He's a dog. Give him more minutes. I think this is likely. Well, this is a great thing, man. We got to play again tonight. And this is going to be fun. Some people are saying, like, this is too soon. We got to have some rest after last night. That may be true. Nick was saying, I got to get these guys to the hotel and get them rested to get them ready for the next game right away. I love this because it puts us in the driver's seat for the series. They can, at best, tie now. We could win the season series by winning tonight 3-1. And that's what we should try and do. I hope we get a couple guys added back to the roster to play tonight, like Brandon specifically. And then, because we got to counteract Joel and Paul George playing tonight. This is very likely they'll play. Now, if Paul George doesn't play, he's such a loser. If Paul George misses both the games against Toronto, something's weird. Something's weird. Now, Joel, he's definitely playing tonight, and we expect that. Scotty said it after the game. That'll be very interesting. Yeah, Elijah, hopefully he'll get to play rotation minutes tonight. I'm pretty sure he will. Trevor J's words of wisdom. Wow, an hour and 20 in. This is probably a record. Life won't wait for you to be okay. Get up, carry your own burden, and keep going. That's how strength is built. Yeah. I mean, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger is what they say, right? That's one of the sayings. That's actually really true. is that if you find resiliency and the ability to go through uncomfortable situations and tough situations, you are stronger for it because you've shown yourself your tenacity, and that's inspiring your confidence. In some ways, it's like what happened last night. We went through the fire, and sure, we could have had a deflating loss at the end of the game, and it was like a totally different feeling. No, we feel like we really accomplished something last night. Seriously, we really did. It's crazy. It's crazy what was going on in that building last night. Trevor J saying, "What a battle! Lots of pressure, defense on both sides. That was a very smart play to end the game by Scotty. Missing the free throw was key. It was a smart move. I don't even know why there was a debate on that. I don't even know. Who were the people saying, no, just make the free throw? Was it your free throw shooting coach, Brian Macon? He's like, no, Scotty, your free throw percentage. We got to watch out for it. It's just one shot. Come on now. The man shooting so good from free throw this year overall. He really is. He really is money from free throw. Let's see. Trevor saying, Colin Murray-Boyles becoming a machine all by himself. Very smart player. He's going against the best, not afraid. This is kind of crazy, honestly. I mean, he's had to muscle up against people like Steven Adams already this year. He's had to do just amazing stuff. And the cool thing I like about Colin is that he executes. That's the thing, man. This guy is dealing with people attacking him and grabbing him at the NBA level with strength and size at the NBA level, and he is still finishing near the rim. Like whether it's on transition, he's running down the court and somebody takes a cheap shot at him in the air, like Peyton Pritchard getting dunked on in a Boston game on Friday. He's finding ways to make that ball go through the hoop no matter what, and that is really impressive. Usually there's a learning curve with rookies and new players to adjust to the strength, size, and speed of the league. And Colin is already very successful at finishing through contact and veteran presence and veteran headiness, because there's a lot of players around the league that know all these tricks, dirty tricks, whether it's pushing you off your balance when you're about to take the shot or grabbing you or, there's all kinds of stuff. But Colin is so money. It's crazy. Like I've seen how he does it too. When he gets his hands with the ball near the rim, he's got this really interesting like way of making sure that ball just goes in. There's no missed bunnies with him, thank God. And that's really interesting to me. His execution's top notch. Top notch. James is saying Colin is the top 4 player in his draft class, in my opinion. Cooper, VJ, Queen, and Colin. That may be right. What about Colin, though? I would take Cooper out and put Con in there. Seriously, I'm slagging on. I'm a disrespect Cooper flag every chance I can because they over publicized him last year, and I found it really annoying. It was like a Bronny James thing to me. It's like, why are you shoving this guy down our throats, talking about him every single second on ESPN? Like seriously. And I love that the Mavericks suck this year. And they're everything about the rookie Cooper Flag is going to be having such an impact. I'm like, yeah, whatever. He's still a rookie. That's what I say. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe we do a top 5, and we'll put Con in there too. Trevor's saying NBA today, Big Perk's top 5 two-way players. Scotty was number 4. Yeah, that's his number on his jersey. But if Perk was right, he put him at number 1. You can try and say he's not the top two-way player in the league right now? Come on now. I know you got top level guys like Giannis and people like that involved too, Perk. But come on now. You got to give even more respect to Scott. It's nice that he's involved. But man, come on now. You got to really pay attention, update your list. Seriously, man. The things he's doing right now. Holy cow. Bryce is here. Good morning to Bryce Lawson, stateside in the state of Kentucky. Bryce is a Raptor freak holding it down for our Raptors red on the stateside. Good morning, Bryce. Good morning, Lex and Raptor freaks. The MVP of the game is Coach Darko. Yeah. Seriously, like he's wowing me with like new ways of just astounding me. Like seriously, between his holding back from not getting the technical the other day in that game against Orlando, I think it was Orlando or Atlanta. It was one of the two. I think it was one of those two games. And then the the challenges last night. Like seriously. All right, we had a game last week where Darko used all of his challenges in like the first half, like even in like almost the first quarter. And I was like, what are you doing? You use both your challenges before the second half even happens. You don't have them in your back pocket. Like, is that bad strategy? Like, shouldn't you keep a challenge? Like, is there anything that important in the first half that you should be using your challenges in the first place? Well, one of the reasons why you could use a challenge right from the start of the game is to set the referee straight to call the game a better way for the rest of the game. That's a good challenge to use. Maybe you have a challenge to use just in case for that at the very beginning to set the referee's standard of calls for the game in a different direction because they're already establishing fucking up the calls. Well, what did Darko do? He didn't use his challenge at all the whole entire game until the very end and when it mattered the most. And those challenges absolutely mattered. I was like, when he called one of them, I was like, well, you got to. This is so late in the game, and and they were calling the stuff wrong. Mitchell Irvin, Natalie Sago, the possession arrows were wrong at the end, and y'all were trying to screw us up. Y'all were trying to go all kinds of calls against the Raptors, and you failed at your ref hit job last night. You actively tried to make the Raptors lose last night at home in front of their home arena, and we said, no, 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 no. It's like a Jack Armstrong, get that garbage out of there. The fans said no, and the Raptors did too. And we made sure that we won this game, even though y'all were trying to make it so clear that you wanted the Sixers to win so bad. And in some ways, that was 8 versus 5. That was association versus 5. And wow, the 5 are great when they've got the bolstered crowd of the almost 20,000 Scotiabank Arena in there loud as hell. Oh my gosh, that was so good. That was so good. So good. Darko, good job with your challenges. That's right. Bryce is saying, I really hate to see Grady plummet like this. After Jacoby went down, I expected Grady to kind of take over. Grady hasn't played a 30-minute game this year. Martin did last night, and it's his 5th game. Yeah, that's a telling stat right there, Bryce. That's a telling stat indeed. Man, Grady, to get more leash, you got to earn it. And in some ways, you're hit and miss, literally. And you shouldn't be because you're supposed to be a dead eye. Oh man, this sucks. I'm feeling for him too. I don't want Grady to be a bust. I want Grady to work out. And if I'd even be at this point where it's like, look, even if we don't keep him, I like the kid. I like him as a person. I want to see him become successful somewhere else if he can't be here. Seriously. I don't want him to see him come around and burn us and have revenge games. But, in some ways I feel bad for him because it's like, man, that this has just been a nightmare season for him. Obviously, it's not been a good year for him. Trevor's saying Martin is a dog on defense like Shed. Yeah, they're cut from the same cloth. I really like what Elijah said after the game about how he views defense, that he really loves the challenge of trying to stop people, and that he really appreciated his teammates and his coaches for leaving him on an island guarding Maxey in overtime in a crazy game like that last night. I mean, that shows a lot of trust in Elijah Martin, that Darko would say, hey, you go guard Maxey. It's overtime. He's been killing us. That's crazy. That's something really crazy to put on the broad shoulders of a rookie like Elijah Martin. But he relished it. I mean, you're getting one of the best players at his position in the league, and you're trying to shut him down. If you can do anything against him, you're one of the best in the world. That's what I'm saying, man. So yeah, Martin and Shed are cut from the same cloth. And I love that little part where Martin missed the shot and then Shed was behind him and he dunked it right after him. And Shed was flexing and Martin was so happy. Like you saw him light up when he saw Shed had his back and he threw it down in that play after him. Martin was just like, this is good. This is cool. In some ways, those winning vibes that come off of those two guys, they just really are very, very like an X factor. There's an X factor in them. Seriously. Yeah. Trevor's bringing up that the 905 crushed Birmingham like a paper bag. That's what he's saying. It's cool. I checked in with you guys at halftime on the YouTube chat from the arena, checking in to see what the score was. And you guys were being sarcastic. Apparently, the Raptors 905 in the first quarter last night outscored Birmingham Squadron 44-11. Yeah, that's serious. They scored 44 points in the first quarter and held their opponent to 11 points. If you guys aren't watching 905, what are you doing with your life? You're missing out on amazing dominance by the Raptors organization at the G League level right now. That is absolutely fantastic. They ended up winning this game by 45 points. Very much the opposite of the Raptors nail biter that we saw at Scotiabank. It's crazy. It is crazy. All right, I'll go ahead and do the stars for them too real quick. We'll do this a lot more quickly than the Raptor stuff. Tyreek Key got the chain last night, and he was the best player for the 905. 25 points for Tyreek, 30 minutes, 9 of 16, 4 of 8 from 3, 3 of 3 at the free throw line, 4 rebounds, 1 assist, 0 turnovers, a plus 42. Tyreek, he was a plus 42 last night. Holy crap. That dude is a scorer, man, and he's not even like a regular starter for our 905 team. He is a scorer, though, and he really carried us offensively. And that's amazing, man. A 44 first quarter. That's crazy. That is crazy because then for the rest of the game, their score looked jacked up like they were on steroids the whole entire rest of the game. And, Squadron never got close to them. Like, seriously, the 905 are so good at this point. They're sucking the soul out of their opponent by the end of the game and making them all wonder if they should even be in this profession. That's the level of beatdown that the 905 have done to the last couple teams. The Noblesville Boom got sent out of Mississauga last week after 2 games against the Raptors 905, feeling dejected and like, wow, we have lost all confidence in the world. The last minutes of that game the other day against the Boom, they looked like a team that was shell-shocked and not ready to go on into the future. I'm pretty sure they did the same thing to Birmingham last night too, even without watching. I did watch some of the highlights afterwards. Well, we'll play them again on Tuesday, and we'll see if we can get the same result from what happened. Guys, I've given the second star to Olivier Sarr, who was badass last night. Olivier Sarr had one of his best games for 905. It was awesome. 24 points in 25 minutes. Look at that points production per minute. Olivier was just feasting. I guess the Squadron has no bigs. Is that what happened, Raptor Freak fans? Is that what y'all said? Saw when you guys were watching on YouTube last night that they had no bigs and Olivier Sarr just looked like Shaquille O'Neal out there or something like that? Although he did a lot of his damage from the 3-point line. 7 of 10 for Olivier, 4 of 6 from 3, 3 of 3 from the free throw line, 9 rebounds also, assist, a turnover, and 4 steals and a block. Look at that, 6 stocks for Olivier Sarr. Man, if you can you bottle this and just start doing this every game? Because maybe you will get a path to the Raptors if you can play like this, Olivier. Stop living your life wrong. Get this right. Go like this, man. Because seriously, the Raptors do have a need for a big, and you are in the pipeline. So keep doing games like this, and maybe you will get a 10-day contract by the end of the year. Seriously, Olivier. Seriously, man. This was an eye-opener, the one last night. AJ Hogarth is the third star as the backup point guard off the bench. He's been fantastic. This is part of the reason why it's like Chucky may be in trouble, Blackhawk, because the guy who's coming in and taking the minutes over, this guy is so good, AJ Hogarth. 26 minutes, 18 points, 6 of 11 shooting, 4 of 6 from 3, and he was making some crazy floater shots and all kinds of stuff. He's a very gifted offensive player to score for himself, and he has passing chops, which is very interesting to me about AJ Hogarth. His eyes, like, he was nowhere on my radar until recently, and I'm like, holy cow, this guy's very solidly productive most nights. He had 7 assists with 5 turnovers, though. 1 steal, a plus 30. A plus 30. My 4th star of the game last night is David Roddy. David Roddy's been kind of the main go-to guy with the other guys away, the two-ways and Jonathan. And Roddy's a veteran experience has been very relied on by 905 right now with the absence of the best players, the two-ways, Elijah, AJ, and Jonathan, and Chucky. David Roddy, 31 minutes, 15 points on 6 of 13 shooting, 3 of 9 from 3, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, 4 turnovers, a plus 28. Not the cleanest stat line, but in some ways, Big Body Roddy is out there providing leadership, tenacity, and physicality, because that dude will clear that lane out with his big body. That's right, he will. My 5th star of the game and final star is Julian Reese, the younger brother of Angel Reese. Had an interesting game last night. 8 points in 17 minutes, 2 of 2 from the field, 2 of 2 from free throw, 12 rebounds. Love to see that. 2 assists, 1 turnover, 1 block, plus 19. Yeah, I love that he was perfect from the line and from the field, and he got 12 rebounds. An honorable mention to Quincy Guerrier, who got a double-double last night, 11 points, 11 rebounds on 3 of 12 shooting in 26 minutes. He also had 4 turnovers and a steal, a plus 13. Jarkel Joyner started last night, 3 of 11 with 7 points, 1 of 5 from 3, 6 assists with 0 turnovers, 2 steals, and a plus 16. Pat McCaw, Raptors legend and champion, started the game last night, and he got 0 points in 28 minutes. He only took 3 shots. 2 of them were threes. He got 6 rebounds, 3 assists, and 3 steals, a plus 29 with no turnovers. Tyson Degenhart, not bad. 10 points, 24 minutes, 4 of 6 from the field, 2 of 4 from 3, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, 3 turnovers, and 2 steals, a plus 21. And Jaden Bediako, the kid from Brampton, did get in for 5 minutes at the end of the game, obviously with a 45-point win. He took 2 shots, missed them both, got no points, and got a rebound. And that's it. -4. Yeah, fantastic job by them. I don't even need to look at the other side. They were pathetic. 118-73 is the final score. We kicked their ass. We absolutely kicked their ass, dominated them. We shot perfect at the free throw line, 47% from the field, 19 3-pointers, doubled up the threes on them. They only made 8. We made 19. Free throws, rebounds, we plus 20 over them. We had 21 more rebounds than they did, and we shot way better than them. We just dominated them. It's crazy. Assist to turnover ratio, 27-19 for the Raptors, 905, 11-20. Once again, very mirroring last night. They had 11 assists, just like the Sixers, and 20 turnovers. So they had 2 less turnovers than the Sixers and lost by 45. This is crazy, man. So crazy. The lead got up to 952 was the highest lead they had last night. The Raptors 905 are no joke. Andrew Jones, you're amazing, man. You are amazing. That dude is such a good coach, man. Yeah, not a paper bag. What? Fiercey, not a paper bag. Kesperos here. Good to see the fact checker. What a high basketball IQ play at the free throw line at the end by Scotty. This team knows how to make the best finishes to a game without needing a generic buzzer beater show. Laugh out loud. Go Raptors. We are a very smart team, and it's so weird because it's very unconventional how we won that game last night. Like, this is so crazy that the Raptors are so bad at three-point shooting in the modern NBA, and we're finding ways to win. Like, it's almost like we're breaking the whole idea of what the NBA is. Like, at some point, somebody may look at what we're doing right now and be like, that's so interesting what they're doing. I wish we could do more of that. Why can't we do more of that? Well, you got to get your players to commit to doing it and actually doing it. It's so hard. A coach can't just tell guys to go out there and do what Darko's doing. He really got to be an amazing motivator and somebody that absolutely is trusted. And, every single coaching situation in the NBA is different, all 30 of them. And some of these situations with coaches, they don't have the trust of their players that they'll run like chickens' heads cut off all over the place like crazy and go all out for their coach. And the other thing is, we've seen consistently in the 3 years of Darko being our coach that these guys will do it whether they're winning or losing. The last 2 years when we weren't winning as much, these guys were going all out even then. And it's like everybody who's passed through during the Darko era has done it too. So there's guys that have come through and gotten traded since, and they were all doing it at their points too. So there's something about this. There's something about the trust. There's something about the dedication. There's something about the respect for Coach Darko Rajakovic that gets these results out of these players. In some ways, it's indicative of things like Brandon Ingram expanding his game to being more two-way. We're getting blocks and rebounds more often. What makes players like him? Because this was somebody watched us play earlier this year. I forget who it was. It was another coach, and they were astounded in their post-game interview. They're like, they've got their guys really bought in. This is amazing how the Raptors have their players so bought in and playing so hard for their coach. It's not common. And in some ways, that alone should be something that Raptors fans extremely value and respect about our coach, Coach Rajakovic. But seriously, you can look at each team around the league, and certain coaches get a lot of results and effort out of their players, and some do not. Trust me, some do not. It's crazy, man. It is crazy. Fiercely saying, I'm visualizing the noise of a paper bag being crushed. Yeah, puff, puff. Yeah, something like that. Fiercely saying, good morning, fam, and happy back-to-back game day tonight. And Bozo will be on display. We need to use speed. He won't be able to run down the court as he's too heavy. Great game yesterday. I don't want to wish injury on anybody. I don't, but in some ways, the ability for Joel to get hurt in a highly frenetic, play hard game is there. And in some ways, the Raptors would be smart to really get up and down the court and make them run. Because in the past, the Raptors have been successful against teams like the Nuggets and the Sixers with their bigs and making the other coach have to bench the big because we run so much, they're just not keeping up. They're getting tired. And I've seen periods of time where we played the Sixers in recent years where Joel Embiid can't play like 20 minutes of the game because the game is too high paced and he's just not got it. And I could see this happening tonight where the Raptors are very frenetic and doing what we normally do. And Joel is getting left behind, and Nick has to start putting him on the bench more than actually playing him. This is actually a really smart strategy to maybe nullify Joel from being a factor in winning for the Sixers tonight. It's a key to the victory, as I just said right there. Yeah, it's a key to the victory right there. Yeah, Fiercely saying highly competitive. The three rookies closing. Hang on, it jumped ahead. I know I've got a lot of comments in here, and this is gonna be crazy. I see so many different names in the comments. It's so good to see so many Raptor freaks today here for this one. Of course, I figured we'd be busy today. I figured we would be. Yeah, for sure. All right, Fiercely saying highly competitive. The three rookies closing out the game with two vets was a wise decision by Darko. No, there was only two rookies out there and a one year player in Shed. Two rookies, a 2-year player, and then Quickly and Scotty. That lineup was cool. I was actually kind of hoping he would do that three amigos with Quick Shed and Elijah. I was really kind of hoping that. It's an interesting look. In some ways, it's very Boston. Boston likes to play three little small guys and do a lot of switching and just be irritating. In some ways, we're kind of cheating off of the Boston playbook with having those three guys out there like that. Dogs that are just going to annoy you, like Derek White and Peyton Pritchard. Yeah, there's a little bit of like Boston flavoring in that. I say, yeah, copycat league. In some ways, we're stealing some of the stuff from them. I would say that, yeah. Yeah. Let's see. Fiercely saying Scotty making his presence felt in the paint. He's my numero uno star. Then, in no particular order, Collins, Shed, Martin, and IQ. Safe recovery, Jacoby. Exact same stars that I had. Exact same stars. Fiercely. G's saying this Darko, way to save the challenges. I was frustrated about not challenging earlier, but now I see the light. Yeah, I mean, that's such a tough thing. Eric Curry, you were an all-star last night too, man. Let's give some credit to assistant coach Eric Curry for his department in doing this. I mean, I get it. In some ways, those challenges had to be made, including the one Nick did near the end of the game, because the game's on the line and you might as well use it. You've got it. You better use it. Well, very, very useful challenges by Darko for sure. Two of them and right in a row. And once again, I'll say this. If we're challenging and having to use our challenges on possession challenges, that is a sign that the other team is getting favor because honestly, that's one of the easiest calls to make in the NBA. A lot of times, not always, but most of the time, is who's the ball out of bounds off of. And, the refs are standing at the sideline. They have a good angle to see it. It's just sometimes they want to test their accuracy with like the coach. And Darko can say, obviously that's our ball, but you're giving the ball to Philadelphia. Challenge. Oh, okay, you're going to set us straight. We shouldn't even have to do that. The refs should have to get it right in the first place. And every single time Mitchell Irvin announced the challenge outcome last night, the fans cheered. And that was awesome. But we were booing the hell out of them too. And we really did see just how much they were really trying to do some screwy shit in the last 5 minutes of regulation in the fourth quarter. They really did. They tried to do some screwy shit, man. Seymour's here. Good morning to Seymour. He's holding it down for us in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. Big up the whole 114 section. Hey, there you go. Big up the whole stadium for bringing the energy needed to pull the win out. Yeah. Yeah, call him Murray-Boyles. We got. Cash Money, brother. Man, dude, he's something, man. He's such a weird enigma to me in some ways. Like, man, he's interesting. He's a different one. He's different. Let's just put it that way. Scotty loves playing with him. Like, he was glowing when they asked him about Colin. He's like, "Oh man, he really likes the addition of Colin." He said I think he called him like an amazing rookie or like I forget what the word was exactly he said. He said he's like, "Oh my gosh, he's an exceptional rookie." I think that's kind of what he said. Yeah, he really loves playing side by side with them. And you can see kind of the potential for a two-man game between the skills of Scotty and Colin. Like there's all kinds of weird pick and roll stuff they could do with them that could be so devastating to the rest of the league just because of the nature of their finishing and their ability to play around the basket. And they're both really good passers. That's the other thing. So there's a lot of potential with Colin Murray-Boyles on our team for synergy with Scotty that is absolutely victorious kind of stuff, winning kind of stuff. I love this, man. I love that Seymour is giving credit to the arena because being in that arena, we felt it. Trust me. And we were not letting them get out of there without getting the W. That's right. They had to get that W. We were going to make sure they got that W. That's right. G saying Martin trash talking Maxi and waving goodbye. My goodness, he has kahunas. I know, man. In some ways, I say, don't poke the bear, guys. You know, Maxi's such a dangerous player. It's kind of like a snake charmer with the little and like the snake, the cobra comes up. Man, that snake has to be respected. That snake will bite you. It could kill you unless you get it devenomed or whatever. But seriously, I don't like poking the bear. And in some ways, the Elijah Martin competitiveness with trash talking and amping up Tyrese, that's not totally necessary. Let's not get Tyrese all amped up. Seriously. And someone's like, rookie, all right, you want to amp up the stakes and make it really crazy? Well, make sure you get that W at least. Seriously. Because Tyrese, man, we don't need him going crazy like that. It was nuts. Fiercely saying, Lex, I could hear you chanting defense from the crowd over the TV. The atmosphere in the building must have been so electric. That was me. I'm going to tell you right now, if y'all heard one voice yelling defense at the beginning of the game, right through the game, it was me. And you probably did hear me because they did hear me. Seriously, at one point when I, like I said, was directing profanity at the referees, the security people were starting to check me out and saying, oh, who is he? Who's the guy who's saying that? And they're like looking at me. And I said, hi, Mike. And he's like, wait. He's like confused. He's like, what? It's like, he knows me. What? Oh man. But yeah, it was, you know, I was really proud. There were people around me that were helping me too, that were getting into it also. Yeah. My whole thing is I like to chant defense whenever the other team has the ball. I won't cheer too loud when the Raptors have the ball. In some ways, I'll let other people do the let's go Raptors, but it's really when the other team has the defense when we're on defense, I'll do that. And, you know, some people may think that doesn't help, but it does. Trust me, it does. You get that raucous arena saying defense, defense. It's egging them on. It's feeding energy to the defensive effort of the Raptors on the court. And it's also really loud, and it makes it harder for the other team to communicate offensively with each other. So there is a real factor in crowd noise. And anybody who thinks that it's futile to make any noise at games, you're an idiot. You absolutely do not get the part and the factor that the crowd can have to help the team. And it was very evident last night. In some ways, the Raptors did everything just enough to win that game last night, and they needed the crowd to get behind them and help push them also. They would tell you that. If you asked any of the Raptors last night, oh my God, the crowd helped us so much. They will tell you that. They will tell you that. Seriously. Trevor J saying Joel cannot run. Breaking news. Hey guys, we got a news update from Trevor. He's on the sideline. He's saying that he has watched Joel recently in games and he cannot run. So this is important breaking news here. And I knew this. I think I knew this, right? G saying this, Shed hurts his thumb, is in obvious pain, winces it off. AD hurts his finger and doubles over in pain. Their mentality and pain tolerances are not the same. Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Some of these guys in the league, they get a little hangnail, and they're on the DL all of a sudden. I'm telling you, Paul George might have been like that last night. Oh, my leg's tight, Nick. I'm sorry, I don't want to play. What? You don't want to run around with the Raptors? Is that what's going on, Paul George? It looks tiring. You don't want to run around with the Raptors for the night? Okay, Paul, you go ahead and sit at the bench in your street clothes. I don't think you played the Raptors in like 4 years or something like that. It's kind of funny how you DMP with the Raptors all the time, Paul George, whether you're on the Clippers or the Sixers. I think you have DMP'd with us. Like somebody could go find the facts on this or something like that. Let's find out the last time Paul George actually suited up and took the challenge of playing against the Raptors and the way they play. Because I don't think it's been any time recently, honestly. Fiercely saying that look of disbelief on Nurse's face after the intentional second free throw miss was gold. Kudos to Scotty for a baffling forgot Nick Nurse's butthole emoji. Can someone remind me of it? It's the little orange one. I was yelling at Nick during the game too. I was like, Nick, stop complaining. Nick, stop whining. Stop whining. Oh man, there were points of the game where Nick and Darko were yelling at the refs at the same time. It was hilarious. It was hilarious. They were getting so mad, both of them. And that's the sign of a pretty good officiating crew when both teams are mad at them. But I think the Sixers shouldn't have been mad at them. They were just whining and crying. And in some ways, Nick is just trying to gain advantages for favor by complaining and doing that. You know, all coaches are going to do this. It's part of politicking for favor and calls. And man, but Nick was really right from the start. He was yelling and whining and complaining, and he got a tech. I believe he got a tech right in the beginning of the game, right away. I think there was some sort of call on Edgecombe that didn't happen, and he got really mad, and he got a tech almost right away at the beginning of the game. Somebody was trying to say that Lowry actually got the tech from the bench. But I think it was actually Nick from what I saw on the court. It was Nick. G saying Elijah the winner Martin. He only knows how to win. I don't know. How do you guys like this nickname for him? Mr. AM. Mr. AM. I don't know if that's maybe you could build the legend saying he's up in the AM working hard. Mr. AM. I love that he tried to throw that dunk down in the middle of the game in crunch time. That is crazy. Like that athleticism, and that would have brought it home. But alas, he didn't get it cleanly, and it didn't happen. But man, that's gutsy. That's gutsy to go up there and do what he does like that in a crunch time moment in the NBA like that on the biggest stage. Yeah, really big balls to try and take that dunk like he did that time. Raptors Champs is here. Good morning, Raptors Freaks and Champs. Good morning to you, sir. The embodiment of excellence and winning and victories and W's. Mr. Raptors Champs, a great addition to our channel in the last year or so. That's right. Fiercey Salcera is saying this. Elijah Martin stepped up big time, put in the work. Great game for him. AJ was helpful the first few minutes he played. Oshai not hurting us either. Grady slumping, but Battle missing 2 free throws and a layup. Yeah, I mean, we can nitpick each one of these guys like I did the box score, and we know who's getting passing grades and who isn't. And in some ways, I don't want to dump on these guys more. I just want them to get it out of the mud and start playing better. Grady, man, you had a 4-for-4 game last week, and then it turned into this, and it's the ups and downs. Consistency is sought in the NBA because when you're in a rotation, we want to know what you're going to give us when you're out on the court. That's right. Seymour saying Ben Simmons, Paul George, Embiid, Anthony, Street Clothes, Davis have robbed the NBA for real. Ben Simmons for sure, man. He should be at the top of your list, man. I love those meme jokes when they say leader in steals, and they have John Stockton and Gary Payton, and then they have Ben Simmons, and it's a money figure. That's hilarious to me. Yeah, Reggie's here. Good morning, the Smooth Brown Man, a Raptors freak trivia champion. Did Abaji play last night? Yeah, he did. He did play. He got in for a little while, and he was solid. He played all right. You didn't watch the game. Holy crap, man. That one's worth watching back. Seriously, it's crazy. ESPN, NBA, I didn't realize they put out these extended highlight reels. Like they have like a half an hour one with it has all the extended highlights, and then it has the press conferences after it. I mean, last night I was just watching all this stuff over and over again from being in the arena. You know, I see it from my perspective in the seats, and I love to go and watch the highlights afterwards to hear Matt Devlin and Alvin Williams call and to kind of see the angle from the camera angle. Because if you're sitting at the end line like I was, you see the whole game from a different perspective. Then when you come back home and you watch the game later and you see how it all kind of played out from the side, you get the fuller picture of, oh, that's why Colin made that dunk, or, oh, that's why that was a turnover. You know, you see a little bit more of that stuff. You should totally go back and watch it, Reggie. Seriously, this is one of the greatest games in Raptors history that happened last night. This is honestly maybe one of the greatest games I've ever gone to in my life. And I went to game 1 of the finals against Golden State. And this is up there with it. This game is like a top 5 all-time game that I ever went to. And I've gone to hundreds of games over the 30 years of the Raptors. You have to, seriously, Reggie, you got to watch this game, or at least some of it. Raptors Champs is saying Kyle Lowry wearing the Austin Matthews jersey, 34 equals 7. Kyle always been calculated. Yeah, I think it really is like he can't come in wearing a Raptors jersey, right? You can't come into the game wearing a Raptors jersey. even though that would totally fit him and looks right on him. It looks right on him better than a Sixers jersey. But he can't do that overtly, so he'll wear a Leafs jersey. And that, in some ways, that's a nod to MLSE and the company that he worked for. In some ways, right? Shaq Lindsay saying Colin Murray-Boyles is the real deal. Martin getting minutes over Dick and Battle and O'Shea, as he should. Honestly, as he should. I think that we need to allow Elijah to ride this wave of what he's doing with the big club as long as he needs to. You know, we do have to worry about two-way limits as far as how many games he's eligible to play for the rest of the season. And that may be some of the factors in the personnel decisions about where he plays. Just so people, in some ways, I don't want Raptors fans to get all out of pocket just because Elijah is still playing on 905 and still doing stuff for them at certain points. Once again, we got to realize that 905 is fantastic. And Elijah said himself, no, 905 has been helping me keep reps up and keep in good shape and keep it going with the system and learning it and mastering it. That's one big thing that really helped them is, you know, when you plug in AJ Lawson and Elijah Martin into the Raptors game, they aren't screwing up. They know the system because Andrew Jones runs the exact same system for 905, and they already kind of know the spots and where to run and all the different plays in the play set because they're learning them all there. This is really, really smart and important because you got guys that are in your auxiliary and your backup that are ready to go, and without a lot of the orientation that it takes to learn the system at the big club and what's going on because they've already been practicing a lot of that stuff. So it's second nature to Elijah to know where to run on the court and the play sets that the Raptors run. That's really huge. And that's part of the success of why he can look good at this level. And he recognizes that like the 905 work he's been putting in this season has prepared him to be able to help the Raptors like he has in the last couple games. Without that, it doesn't work. And once again, like I said, the eligibility to play in Raptors games as a two-way, it's like you get 50 games the whole season, and they don't even count. They count the games that you suit up, even if you DMP. So, you know, we're going to have to watch his eligibility. And then if he is really key to our rotation and we're playing him a lot more for the rest of the season, he may get converted. That may be what happens. And that's his goal. That's what he wants. He wants to play so well that they cannot deny him and that they will convert his two-way contract to a full NBA contract standard, just like Jamison Battle last year. So, yeah, we could see that happening. I mean, the game like last night and the key minutes and what he did to help contribute to this win will definitely help get him converted off that two-way. Trust me. Yeah. Bryce has got the chomp out. I love it. Stargate saying this. Lex, heard you shout, "Let's go Raptors" at the beginning of the overtime. That's right. That was me. I'm telling you, man, when the crowd is the quietest, I'm yelling usually, and I'm usually getting stares. The thing that always bugs me at Raptors games is people go crazy for the T-shirt toss and the Sun Trust jersey giveaway. They get so loud for the stuff they're handing out. I wish y'all would do that for the game. Use your powers for that too. I mean, you do to an extent. You do get raised up and get to that point. But man, the level of volume between like the T-shirt toss and the regular game to me sometimes annoys me. It's like, oh, I see what y'all are here for. You just want your own selfish swag. And you'll get all loud like this, but you look at me funny when I'm getting loud, yelling during the game. Okay. I'm using my power for good. I lost my voice a bit today. Not totally bad. I'm glad I can do the show. But, you know, y'all are yelling just for T-shirts. That's selfish. Do it for the team. Come on now. If you could do that for the T-shirts, you could do it for the team too. You tell on yourself, as Dwayne Casey would say. You tell on yourself. That's right. That's right. Shaq Lindsay saying this. I heard Yak's back is worse than we thought. That's not what I want to hear, Shaq Lindsay. I don't know if that's exactly true. I think it's like everybody with their backs. You have good and bad days. And it's kind of where you sleep at night and you get up the next day. I don't know. I feel like Jakob is like such a day-to-day, like checking in on him. Like he honestly, he could get really good very soon all of a sudden. I mean, I want to speak into existence good things happening. But man, you heard something that I didn't hear? Hopefully he's playing tonight. We'll have to see. Neil saying all you can say is Scotty Barnes is on another level. He's consistently playing with bully ball this season. The more he does it, the more he cements his history. It's just so powerful. Like, it's crazy too. Like, he's finishing through some of the strongest contact, and I'm glad they're dropping now. Seriously. And he has a lot of skill with his touch, whether it's little baby hooks or his turnaround and all that kind of stuff. Man, Scotty is such a good dominant player. And I love that he's not shrinking away from that aspect of his game, because some people will get hit a couple times in the lane and they'll be like, no, I don't want to do that anymore, coach. I just want to shoot threes and I'll be a finesse player. No, he's taken his very God given body and talents and he's using them to highest level at this point. And man, the Raptors are so good for it. They are so good for it, man. They are so good for it. That's right. Nako's here. Good to see Nako the Nacho. Gerald, how are you this morning? You know, you said this earlier this year. That's the game of the year. How do you feel about last night? Seriously, I think it was a Miami game that you said, oh, that's the game of the year. What about last night? Seriously, Gerald, how do you rank this one as far as like ranking different games so far this year? As what is the game of the year so far this year? That game last night was a contender. I'm going to tell you that right now. HC's here. Good to see HC. No longer the undefeated now that he lost his first matchup this past week to Jason Dukes. And yeah, we got a new week starting today. So get your lineup set up. I got my win over Logical Raptors fanatic. Amit won against Bryce down in Kentucky. Nins in Philly beat Cool Cat. Omari lost to Fiercey. Big win by Fiercey. Good stuff. As I said, HC lost to Jason. MK beating Kareem, and Cass lost to James. That was a big matchup right there. And then Gerald won his matchup. So congratulations to Gerald beating Andrew also. So if you won your fantasy matchup this week, congratulations. There's another week. Let's get to it. That's right. Rosie and Shine. That was a wild game last night. I slept like a baby with a smile on my face. I see something special in Martin. Man, I was so overjoyed too. Like, it was awesome to get both the wins yesterday in very different ways. And the just, man, you know, I can't talk enough about how emotional I was about seeing my cousin, guys. Like, seriously, I hadn't seen her in like 10 years, and it was really special to be able to see her and her son and her husband yesterday at the game. And because, like I said, I hadn't seen her and it'd been too long. It'd been way, way too long. Her son's a big fan of basketball. He loves playing basketball and he's really into it. And he listens to our show, guys. Thomas, thank you for listening to the show. And I know that this weekend in your basketball stuff, you know, it was a fantastic trip, good team bonding experience, and going to that game last night. Holy cow! I hope you guys come to Toronto more often and go to games. I think your mom was saying that you guys are going to try and coordinate with me more. And who knows? Maybe we can actually sit together at one of the games in the future when you guys come here. And I'm definitely going to try and come out to Ottawa and see you guys. I need to. I felt so bad. I was like, man, it's been that long. I hadn't seen you since that wedding. Holy cow, that's way too long that I hadn't seen my cousin Kristen. So it is exactly what I needed. And in some ways, like I said, that energy in the building was strong because I was like, we are not losing on the first game that my cousin Kristen comes to. And we had Adriana in the house too. So Adriana is such a good luck energy to have in the building. Just trust me. When I go to games with Adriana, we're usually winning. We are usually winning. And that's why I went, because I knew this game yesterday was going to be so important. And we needed to kick the Sixers' ass. We needed to win that one. I knew it was important. Seymour saying Barnes had that dunk of the year last night, straight busted. Oh, yeah, man. He kind of like that was so awesome. Like, he kind of just went between two guys and hammered it down. Yeah, he's a force. And people are recognized around the league now. He's no doubt an all-star. If Scotty Barnes is a replacement all-star like he was before, that is a travesty. This man's a straight up all-star. In fact, if he keeps doing things like he's doing right now, I know voting's almost over. He could get some steam from general NBA fans because they're starting to recognize just how powerful and amazing Scotty Barnes is from his highlights. A lot of those fans get informed about the league just from the highlights. And I'm going to tell you this right now, going through all of the NBA.com highlights for our game last night, the comment section were going crazy. People are saying this may have been the game of the year in some ways. This may have been This was definitely the game of the night. Why does it seem like these highlights reels that are the most exciting and amazing have the Raptors involved in them usually? They were saying all kinds of stuff like that. So people are starting to understand the Raptors are a legitimate team to contend in the NBA right now. And they're also very much starting to be aware of just how powerful Scotty is. And that's good because he deserves all the kudos and all the recognition because he's putting in that work and he is like that. He is like that. That's right. Yeah. Yeah. Let's see. Power of the show is hard. That's right. Oh, Power of the Show. Yeah, those guys like that show Power. That's right. Neil saying Martin is all about that identity we're establishing. That is why I don't worry about him being a prototypical NBA player. Scotty, Jamal, Colin, Elijah, Chucky, Oshai, and Jakob raise our defense. Elijah, for all of my kind of talking about, I don't know if he'll make it, my doubting, I'm loving that he's proven me wrong in some ways. And the big thing is what you're saying here is an X factor. There's an X factor to him that will have to be more valuable than like the detriments of his size and his limitations. Like if he can be a very plus defender that is not a weakness in any kind of way because he hides it in the right ways, he could find a spot. If he can make his 3-point shot very consistently and find ways to get offense in this league, even as an undersized shooting guard, he can find his way. And it's X factors. And some of it may be X factors similar to Jamal's winning X factors. Some of it may very be like a level of compete and dog and getting after it. That is the stuff that will get him an NBA career full-fledged. And he's leaning into it. And so far, he's getting really high marks, absolutely passing. And we'll just have to continue to see where this goes. And it's looking real good right now. You guys are right. And I'm not necessarily right about him. And that's fantastic. I don't want to be right about everything. And what I was saying about Elijah and even Chucky just now, and I want to be wrong. Seymour's saying it's up there with the Wire and Snowfall as far as power. Yeah, Power is like some sort of like drama, right? It's kind of like the old school show. The kind of show it would be like Dallas or Dynasty, right? Dun, 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 dun. All right, let's see. Bryce is saying the front office has some decisions to make if Martin continues to fight for these minutes over Grady. Yeah, the trade deadline is looming. And, there's different ways that Bobby could juggle this lineup and player personnel to streamline it to maybe get more stuff in a different department that we lack and get rid of some of the guys that are actually duplicitous with each other as far as we have a lot of depth at this position. And Elijah, if he's accelerating his growth and showing promise and usefulness on the big club, well, he can accelerate this process in some ways and make Bobby's decisions a little more easier. Let's just put it that way. Yeah, Seymour saying this at Wayne Strainer. Wayne Strainer called it. At first he's been saying give Martin run. Yeah, and well, it's all in good time in the right order and where it should be. In some ways, I think that it was essential for Elijah to do the 905 run and just have that record with Andrew Jones. It's huge confidence. That Raptors 905 team is now like 23-2 for the season. It's crazy, man. 23-2. All right, guys, we got another caller today. This is going to be our guy, Amari. Good morning, Amari. How are you?
Mr. Lex, what's going on, my friend? How are you?
Great to hear your voice, my guy. I'm doing fantastic, man. So what's up? What do you want? You want to talk about the game last night?
Yeah, I want to talk about the game. I haven't heard from you in a while. I haven't been able to participate in the channel a while just because I've been working. But sure. I got the day off today. I'm in a good mood. We
awesome.
won a great game last night. Okay.
Yeah.
Just a couple things I want to say. Scotty Barnes is that guy, right? I hear a lot of I was watching, I forgot, one of these Philly podcasts, and they were dumping on us saying, oh, we need a number one to go with Scotty. Okay. I don't know if I fully agree with that. And Scotty's not a number one in the sense that he's going to be out there scoring 30 every night, but he did it yesterday. Did he not? Right? He did it yesterday. And Scotty, to me, is our number one guy because he's the lead guy. Like, he's doing everything you could possibly do with a basketball, right? So I think we got a lot of great pieces. that Elijah kid, that dude's a motherfucker. That guy, he'll get in and take the ball away from anybody, right? So I like that. I like what I see from CMB. And when Grady and Jacoby are cooking, they're cooking, right?
Yeah.
They look like good trade pieces. And if you got 3 guards like that, plus you got
Shed,
and even Obaji, right? I'm talking about that shooting guard position. That's a position where we got 4 guys that can cook at any time, right? We're talking
AJ,
Obaji, RJ, AJ, and Dick, right? And Jacoby Walter. We got all these guys, and that's an upgrade somewhere else, right? So everybody knows we need a center. I like the way Bobby's not forcing anything at the moment. Everyone's losing their head saying, "Oh, we need a center." Yesterday, we just proved we don't. CMB's doing a lot of great things down low, and I trust, just the way you trust, I trust in Masai. I trust in Bobby. I think Masai's still speaking to Bobby in the background somewhere, and they're probably having coffee right now at Tim Hortons. But you know, I trust in this team, and we got the pieces the same way we had those pieces right before we turned them into Kawhi, Gasol, and Danny Green. So we're team's in good shape.
Yeah.
I love that the show's still going on, buddy.
I appreciate that, man.
Can't wait for the trivia card because I'll get it.
Awesome. Okay, so you're here to play the classic card for sure. All right, let me run it back as a joke all the way back to what you were saying about what Philly's saying right now. That's interesting. They don't think that we have a number 1 option other than Scotty.
They're specifically talking about BI. They're saying BI is not the one. Right?
What?
And maybe he's not a number 1 guy in the sense
of
he's not.
Let's not give credence to what they're saying, Omari. They're absolutely off base. He's absolutely a number 1 option and priority guy.
Number 1 scoring option, yeah, absolutely. Like
and that's all he needs to be.
Plus. Yeah, so I don't agree with that.
They're delusional. And in fact, I think this is part of like last summer, everybody forgetting we got Brandon and not giving credit for that and like putting us in the preseason standings and what they were predicting. They're all just disregarding how powerful Brandon is and what he can do. And it's just wrong. And even if they said, okay, Brandon's not that guy, what about RJ?
RJ, yes. And that's my point, Lex. Like we don't have a Kevin Durant. We don't have a Steph Curry.
We do, though. I really do believe we do have those not on the same level to a degree. I mean, I would say IQ in some ways could be towards Steph, better than a lot of players in the league. And how many more people in the league are close to Kevin Durant as Brandon Ingram?
Right. And aesthetically, they look similar.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
And Kevin Durant's not playing big time defense like Scotty is. You know what I mean? Steph's not doing big time defense. So I don't think we need that. And like I was just interested to hear what
Philly's saying.
Had to say about last night's win because
for sure,
that was a great win.
Yeah, and I'm getting back to Scotty in particular. You know, Scotty is the type of player like a Tim Duncan. He's the type of player like a Magic Johnson. He's the type of player like a Jason Kidd. And these guys weren't necessarily the starters. I mean, the top scorers. These guys weren't necessarily like the go-to guy. These guys were more glue guys, and they were guys that facilitated, and they got a ton of stats. And they just
guys, moral guys, and they can do everything with the basketball.
Yeah. And in some ways, this is why Masai said when we drafted Scotty, we got the hardest part of what it is to build to the next championship, because to find the combination of talent, selflessness, and all-around play in a player like Scotty, these are so rare because it's not just the talent bundle physically, it is the mentality and the way he looks at the game that is rare also. There's not a lot of players that are as unselfish as he is coming up in the league, you know, so it's a big part of it, man. But yeah, I'm like, what are these people in Philly thinking, man? Seriously, they want this to be reality so that we're easier to deal with, but that's not true. And if Brandon shows up tonight and plays for us tonight, they'll find out. They'll find out.
They hate on Canada so bad. I'm sure you've seen this guy. He's got a very long beard. I forgot what it's called, Philly something. But
Run It Back Philly.
Run It Back Philly. There you go.
That's the main like reaction stream for Philadelphia, and they were kind of in shambles last night.
Saying we don't know anything about basketball, but the thing is, they just discredit everything we do. You know what I mean? OG Anunoby wasn't shit when he was in Toronto, and now he's the greatest defender ever. And Pascal wasn't anything when he was in Toronto, and you haven't heard a word bad about Pascal since he went to the States. So they just shit on everything we do because they know we got it. Like, we got it. Maybe we had a few bad years, but we're good.
It's information wars. It's perception wars. It's, the thing with Jake Fisher right now is crazy. Just how he's trying to make us seem like we have a bad front office with all his sewering, with his rumors about Emmanuel and his contract and stuff like that. It's really insidious. And it's absolutely kind of like, if this was other industries, this would kind of be kind of like something you could probably sue people over. Seriously.
Right. Do you think, when you bring that up, do you think other teams might pay podcasters to devalue a certain asset?
I don't think they need to. I think that people are so passionate about their team, like I am. I'm not getting paid by the Raptors to do this. I do this because I really love the team so much, and a lot of this is the energy from them.
Shit on other players. What I'm saying,
well, I do. I do.
Man, Lex, it's so good to hear from you.
It is. It's fun to talk to you too, Omari, man. It's been too long,
I'm
man.
doing good. Don't watch my fantasy team.
All right.
I made a mistake in the second round.
It's all good, man. I mean, if you can still get some wins and get into the playoffs, you'll be all right. You'll be all right. Yeah, all right, man. Any last points, Omari, before I let you go today?
No, let's just get another win tonight.
Yeah, man. Let's win the series against the Sixers. Fuck Nick Nurse. Let's beat them again. That's right.
Hate that guy.
That's right. Let's go Raptors.
All right. God bless everybody.
God bless you too, man. And I hope you have a great day off, man. And with another victory for the Raps.
I'm going to the grocery store.
You're going to the grocery store. Okay.
Yep.
Right on, man. All right, cool. All right, well, I'm going to use that as a segue to do the straight goods on Canadian Goods. Peace, love, and blessings, my guy.
All right. God bless.
All right, man. All right, let's go Raptors. All right, Omari. Cool. We don't always hear from Omari. That's awesome. All right, guys. He's going to the grocery store. And, well, you got to buy stuff like to put on your food. I'm going to talk about soy sauce, right? This is VH. VH is a company that is Canadian, that is in a Canadian conglomerate, and it's an import, but it is not having anything to do with the United States. So if you want to buy a soy sauce brand that you can support Canadian industry, or at least importing from an ally, VH is a great label to buy. And this is just a soy sauce bottle. So who knows? Omari's at the grocery store today. I hope he buys Canadian while he's there. That's right. That's what I'm hoping. Yeah. Let's keep going in the chat here. So awesome to hear from Omari. This is so awesome. Let's see. Nako's saying this: the Athletics with Martin translates. There was definitely one call against Scotty at the fourth, which I thought was gross. Remember it being a travel on Scotty. Yeah, that was the Rodney Mott call on Scott. That shot would have put us up by 1, and they were trying to stop us. They were literally trying to stop us. That travel call was a direct hit job to stop the Raptors from winning. And the younger Scotty Barnes may have flipped out and gotten his head completely out of the game at such a travesty of a call that late in the game. But he stayed dialed in, and he stayed towards trying to win, even when he got a technical from Natalie Still later on. That was such a bad call. And the crazy thing is, I read Rodney Mott's energy after that when I was yelling at him, and he absolutely looked like he was sweating and guilty as hell, that he got caught red-handed doing something crazy to manipulate the game against the Raptors in a totally unfair way. Because seriously, let's go over this again. Scotty Barnes is an all-star already. In some ways, that should carry some sort of respect with the refs. He's a go-to player. He's a franchise player. He's a player playing at home. And in some ways, in this period of time at the end of the game, how often do they call travels on franchise players in the last 2 minutes of game? They could travel. You could see Jason Tatum travel in the last end of the game. We've seen this against the Raptors in a game where Jason Tatum very much traveled, and he absolutely got it ignored, and he made the shot. And we could have said, whoa, wait, he traveled right there. Raptors fans saw it. We saw it, but they don't care. The NBA calls it, and they ignore it. But they'll see it with Scotty at that moment, and they'll call it at that point. That's disrespectful to a guy who's an all-star. And also, in some ways, it's kind of just bullshit, man. Because, look, people in the NBA, once again, are traveling all the time. And that call was not necessary in that moment. And Rodney knows it. Rodney knows it. And he was sweating about it when we were letting him have it from the crowd. I'll tell you right now. Yeah, that travel call had me lost. Yeah, Bryce was like, what is that? What is that? Neil's saying that was a BS tech the ref gave Scotty because I've seen Draymond do worse and not get a tech. Yeah, Draymond can do way more towards the refs, and they have a lot thicker skin with Draymond. It's one of the reasons why I don't respect Draymond is because he has a lot of allowances with the NBA head office because of his villain role is a role that they covet having around the league for marketing, and they want him to play into it. So he's actually allowed to do a little bit more than the average player because that's his persona. In some ways, Dennis Rodman got to that point in his career where it just is known Dennis is as bad as he want to be. And he could be as bad as he wanted to be because we expected it. And he could get away with a lot more in the league at that point. In some ways, it's very devious and smart to get that kind of villain card in the NBA. Trust me, that kind of thing. Stargate saying somebody here in Toronto with some clout needs to address this league mandate against us being successful. Someone in the press who is a basketball head, like Eric Smith or an ex-player or something. Well, every once in a while, our broadcasters make light of unfairness and they tell it on the broadcast. We hear it. In some ways, look, that's not how we do this, Stargate. We don't whine about it like Nick Nurse. What we do is we get better and we overcome it. That's it. Because this shit ain't going to change. This shit has been what we've been up against the whole 30 years we've been a team. It's not anything different. It's just that we had different levels of compete and skill on our team and talent. And if we do things exactly right, we should be able to overcome it all. It's not going to change. But last night proved to me that we can go against the machine and defeat it still. That's amazing. Like, seriously, this is the craziest thing I've ever seen. They really did a hit job on us, but it didn't take. Just imagine an assassin comes to kill someone and they kill him almost, but he doesn't die. And he turns around and kills the assassin just barely. It's like a James Bond movie. The Jaws is coming out of the curtain with the thing to wrap it around James' throat. He's choking James out. And James somehow gets his hand in there, pulls it out, hits him, and he takes out Jaws. That's the kind of shit this was. They were literally trying to choke us out and do a hip job on us. And we said, survival instinct. And we got through it. Like, that's how it was. In some ways, doing that and proving that, and like I said, winning games a lot this year, 8 versus 5, is proven. It's like, look, it's not going to get any easier. And in some ways, we have to get that much better to go up against it and overcome it. That's the best way to do it. That's the heroic way to do it. And in some ways, look, if the NBA is going to be the NBA, well, we got to understand the rules, the playing field, the terrain, and it may be ever shifting. And we just got to do our best to overcome it all. That's it right there. That's it right there. G's saying Colin and Scotty need to put their weight on Embiid. We'll have to see. We'll probably see some of that. Scotty's not totally looking forward to having a matchup with Embiid. I can tell. He's not. Stargate saying it has to be done at this point. Call it out loudly. Well, we can talk about it. And like I said at the game, I yelled it at the refs, and maybe they had a conscience. Because in some ways, like Mitchell, he could have gotten calls from Secaucus last night on those out-of-bound plays where he absolutely took the call and made it wrong still. He said, no, it was off of Toronto, and it's Philly's ball. And it could have been very well that the head office at Secaucus told him to do that and just screw over the Raptors and the fans and everybody. They could have done that. But no, they had to go analyze it and get the call right and get the right call, and that's good. In some ways, we held their feet to the fire to be real officials and to try and get them to do the job unbiased. And we forced them to do it unbiased to a degree. We did in some ways. We had to do that. Neil's saying, Lex, we win that game because of strong defensive players like Martin, Colin, Scotty, and Shed clamping down on the Sixers. Yeah, that's part of it. That's part of the formula for sure. For sure. Raptors champ saying, let it out, Lex, a man of the people. Dude, it's just a beautiful moment. I'm sorry. I think a lot of the emotion was seeing my cousin. And it just really, man, it made me remember, family is really important. Really, really important. Neil's saying coach guided them, but players have to execute or the game is a wash. Yep, that's true. Mr. Quasimodo's here saying we here for everything good and for you. We need your content. I appreciate that, Mr. Quasimodo. And this is part of why I continue to do this. You know, it's not for financial reasons. It's not for clout. It's not to become internet famous. In some ways, I'm like that little bar down the alleyway that only a few people know about. That it's kind of like, wow, if you know, you know, come on in. You know, in some ways, it's like I don't want to go too big or get it too crazy because in some ways, I know that'll bring more people, and maybe they're not the right people. I want the right fans to be here. I don't want every Raptor fan to come here because some of them are toxic, some of them are weird, and I want the ones that are truly with me with the real positive passion for the team. Because in some ways, we build this kind of like mentality and this kind of thing called being a Raptor freak. We get better fans overall, and we do better, and we cheer better like we did last night. Like this is the progress. This is the area where I work in, is helping the Scotiabank Arena to become a better place for our team to win over and over again. And it starts in the very beginning, you know, working in the arena around the turn of the century when Vince was on our team. I saw how quiet the fans could be. Vince electrified it with Vinsanity, and people came more alive. But we were work in progress. We got more knowledgeable as a fan base. We understood the game better. We understood the players and the way the league was better, and we matured along with our team getting a championship. And you know, we're at a good place with our fans right now. And last night's energy and the way the crowd was is really good. Keep going in that direction. And seriously, if there's a younger generation that listens to me and you're going to games, mimic me. Do what I do. Seriously, because the more fans we have doing what I do at the games, the more likely we're going to win. And that was testament to last night. That's right there, man. I appreciate you, Mr. Quasimodo. You've been a fantastic add-on in recent times too. Coming in I think you've been around longer than I think, though. You were kind of gone and you came back. Daddy Gates is here. Scotty and Colin trolled the Sixers whiz kid at the end of their man. Hold that L, Philly. See what's saying? Only real ones can relate 100%. Yeah, man, I know. Listen, some people say, man, what are you doing crying on your show? Be a man. I'm like, dude, this is the ultimate being a man. It's being able to show sensitivity and emotion and not be afraid to do it. That's true courage. So many men are like, no, men don't cry. And I was like, man, if you feel that, feel it and go through it. Because in some ways in this world, we need humanity. We need emotion. We need to feel something. Because if you don't feel nothing, you become a barbaric monster. And you got to feel these things. You don't want to turn off your emotions. You don't want to go through shit in your head. You don't want to feel those feelings. You bottle them up and you become a pressure cooker, ready to go off at any time. That's not the kind of person to be. That's not masculine. That is psycho. And in some ways, you want to be a real man. You're able to be a true person, true to yourself in front of people and not be afraid. That's what a real man is. That's what I really believe, seriously. Because in some ways, we got to teach our children good examples. And, you know, being a man that's knows no emotions, that's been a real train wreck for humanity in all kinds of different ways. You need to show the full side of being a masculine energy. And there is a sensitive side that has to be not totally disregarded or said that this is bad and this is not really you. No, that's all bullshit. That's toxic masculinity. And I am not afraid to show emotion, especially joyous, positive emotion for something I found so beautiful and touching last night. That's what I'm saying right there. That's right. Yelling at the refs. Yeah, I yelled the shit out of them. They could hear me. They could hear me. And I guilted Rodney Mott last night. I guilted him. Yeah, it was awesome, man. Yeah, this is going 3 hours. It could even be 4. I don't know. We might go to 4. I got a long day. I got to work out for the game tonight, too, man. I got to work out tonight, too. Yeah. Fiercely, you going to give me a dunk for yelling at the refs? For sure. For sure. Yeah, I was calling them out. I was yelling their names. People sitting around me were laughing because, like, how does he know their names? I was like, I know their names. I know their winning percentages with the team. I do the ref report. I know the referees. That's my specialty. If anybody, like, you know, you watch Raptors content, how many people are there on their content are focusing on the refs and focusing on the NBA and how they treat the Raptors? No, they're more likely to talk shit about us, like some of the channels do, and saying, whining and crying, Bobby's not doing a good job, IQ this, and all their bullshit. No, I'm trying to figure out the other side of things and where the association may not be giving us a completely fair shake. Is what I'm saying. That's right. Yeah. Omari, thank you for calling in once again. What up, freaks? Big win. Got a day off today, so life is good. Awesome. Awesome. Stargate saying what people missed was what Colin did after Scotty intentionally missed that foul shot. He batted it out of the way. Look at that last play again. It's like Colin knew already what the deal was. These guys know basketball, man. They're students of the game, and the protocols and the thing that you should do in situations, they go through them at different levels, whether it's in high school, whether it's in college. It could very well be that Colin's had this situation before in a basketball situation in the past, and he knew that that's what you do, that you want to get the ball away from the other team and just bat it to somewhere where there's nobody there and let that time elapse. Very veteran, very heady, but it could be experience from before. It could be instruction from the team at that moment. Who knows? Who knows, man? Who knows? That's right. Mari's saying, damn it, Lex, you're going to make me cry. Man, this is the thing. This is the kind of thing. It's such a beautiful thing, man. Seriously, there really was a weird energy in the building where we're like, we're not letting them get this one. We're not letting them get this one, whether it's from the team or the environment. We're not letting them get this one. That's what it was last night. Fiercely saying, glad you reconnected with your cousin, Lex, and that both you and Adriana enjoyed the game. We really did. We really did. I had some other weird stuff happen at the end of the game I don't really want to talk about because it could actually really lead to something interesting. So I'll keep that under wraps. But yeah, last night was a very interesting game all around in all kinds of ways. Fiercely's calling me a real one. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. I'm trying to be 4.5 years of doing this show here. Yeah. Every single morning, I'm trying to be a real one. I don't know what earns that. I'm just going to grind, keep grinding. Kareem saying this, if we had 53,000 Lexes at Scotiabank Arena, we would have a perfect home record. Lex, to cap off your amazing fandom, I hope when you're like 105 years old and at your last Raps game, you decide to streak. I'm never going to do that, man. Seriously. Those guys know me now. They're watching me. There's one security guy, blue shirt, that's at the game, and him and I have a relationship now because we joke. We've seen each other at like 4 games this year. And I come and talk to him every time. And I became friends with him last night. In fact, I think he subscribed to the channel. He might be watching right now. But I appreciate you guys. The blue shirt guys are awesome. And it was all a joke. Like, there was one game where I'm really loud, obviously, every game. And the blue shirt guy was watching me. And the thing that comes on in the game where they say the code of conduct, where it's like, if there's any fans using profanity or fighting or anything, that when they do that during the game, Herbie's talking about that. I was joking with that security guard. I did the whole, like, I'm watching you to him while they were doing the code of conduct. And he started laughing. He thought it was hilarious that I was doing that to him. I'm watching. So that's our thing. I always try and find him around the arena. And when I catch eyes with him, I'm like, I'm watching you. I'm watching you. So it's like, listen, this is why Lex is not worried about getting thrown out, because I'm making buddies with the security guys. And like, we're having chummy times and just goofy stuff. Goofy stuff. It's crazy, man. You'll stay alive for that to see me streak? I'm not going to streak. Those guys are my friends, and I don't want them to have to rest me. Okay? I don't want them to have to rest me. Come on now. Tears of joy. Very much tears of joy. Amazing tears of joy. G saying Mo must have been so proud of Martin. She has been his biggest fan. Yeah, she's going to be going to the game tonight. I officially relinquished the going to the game baton to superfan Monique Lawrence, who will be going to the game for game 2 against Philly. She's going to bring that energy like the RFF does, and hopefully she will get out of there with a W like we did last night too. So, Superfan Mo, we love you, and I know you're coming correct tonight, and you're going to bring that energy right. That's right. Vote for Elijah and Chucky for G League All-Star. Yeah, I went and voted a couple times. The interesting thing about voting for G League All-Stars is you can do it repeatedly over and over again right in a row. You don't have to wait 24 hours to vote. So if you really have time off, Omari, and you want to vote for the G League 905, you can do it like over and over again all day today. Just keep doing it. You could do it like 12 times and get them in as much as you can. Yeah, I voted for Elijah. I voted for AJ Lawson. And then I'd be voting for David Roddy, Quincy Guerrier, and I'll switch between like Olivier Sarr and Tyson Degenhart. And stuff like that. Yeah, I've been voting for those guys. Chucky's hurt, so it's not worth it to vote for Chucky. I would say that, Neil. It's not worth it to vote for Chucky because he's not going to be available health-wise to play in this game. And it'll be very reminiscent of Marquise Noel getting voted into this game, and he could not participate because he was hurt and he couldn't play. So vote for Elijah and AJ. at the guard position is what I would say. And it's weird. They don't let you do West and East. You only vote for 5 players on the ballot. But like I said, you can do it over and over again with no wait. So if you have some time, you really want to throw some votes towards the 905, go vote there like crazy if you can. I did it at least twice. I was like, man, I don't want to keep doing this. Stargate saying at Kareem, Bretta, cool with the streaking obsession, sing my ute. We know in a dat around here. I know he keeps bringing it up. I'm uncomfortable with it. I think that if he really is into it, he should do it because he's always been telling me to do it for a couple of years now. This is not new. We know that Kareem's been asking me to streak at the Raptors game for like at least 3 years, and I'm not going to do it. But yeah, I'm with Stargate on this. It's like, chill with this motif. Maybe you try it out at like a CBL game or 905 and see how that goes. Don't go to Scotiabank because, actually you should probably go to CBL and do it because you don't want to get banned from MLSC stuff. You could go to CBL and try it out there and see what happens and still go to Raptors games maybe. Unless they share the information and say, yeah, this guy came out to Pan Am Center and he got naked on the court and he's banned from CBL games. Oh, should we ban him at the NBA? I don't know. See, that's what I'm saying. I'm not doing this, man. And Stargate, I appreciate your comment. Raptors Champs is saying Elijah Martin has that championship DNA. If anybody knows about champs, it's Raptors Champs. His defense really helped win the game. O'Shea and Grady, I'm not too sure. Grady just doesn't seem ready for the NBA. It's crazy because Grady seemed like he's ready for the NBA halfway through his rookie year and then last year, and then this year not. He didn't look ready his first half of his rookie season. He looked ready in the second half of his rookie season. He looked okay last year because he had to play a lot because of injury, and he was getting a lot of time to work through his mistakes and make good things happen still. This year, it's not happening. He's not getting the chances like he did last year, and he's fumbling them when he does get them. And that's the tough thing, man. That's the tough thing. This is the Brandon Ingram effect. Brandon Ingram comes in. He's such a great talent. He's going to take things from y'all. And in some ways, y'all got to get the scraps. And who's coming to get which scraps and successfully doing something? That's the tough thing right there. That's the tough thing right there. O'Shea's a bona fide NBA player. He's already established. Grady, it's still questionable. It's still questionable. Neil saying the reason Scotty doesn't have as many 30-point games is because he spreads parts of his game. He spends parts of his game teaching and elevating players, but he needs to be selfish and leave the teaching to the coach. Well, he's facilitating. It's not necessarily teaching. He's setting up his other guys to get points and get involved, which is absolutely fantastic and is in some ways even better than a go-to guy that just hogs the ball and shoots over again because he can put the ball all over the place to different people for sure. Yeah. You know what, Scotty, I like him to do this, what you're saying, Neil, in the crunch time. If Brandon's not there, RJ's not there, he needs to take over and do things like he did last night to make scores absolutely vital times to get us towards the victory. And I want him to be a top dog and aggressive and selfish in those situations. He doesn't necessarily have to be the whole game. Now, last night, what he did was in the first half, he established his paint presence and with big dog on the court. And that was absolutely helpful for setting the tone. So maybe he was a little selfish at that time with calling his number a lot in the first half and getting 20 points. And that was good. That was good right there. That's right. Fiercely saying, not sure if there's a glitch in the G League All-Star voting platform, but you get to resubmit votes as many times as you want. There's not a glitch. You can do it. You just got to keep doing it over and over again. It's up to you. Your patience, you can do it over and over again as you want. Yeah. It's kind of interesting. That's, some people could get people in by just doing this over and over again because they're obsessed. And they'll get their team's players in like crazy. I don't know who's leading the vote getting in the G League All-Star yet this year. I don't hear the returns on that. Fiercely saying, I voted 4 times, laugh out loud. NBA All-Star, you're limited to once a day. Yeah, you can just keep going on voting. Keep going. Yeah, thanks for the info, Eye Candy. There you go. Kaz is here. Good morning to Trucker Kaz. Good morning, Lex and Raptor Free Crew. What a great game last night. Oh, my days. So happy you and Adriana got to witness it in person. Let's go, Raptors. It really was something that just got thrown together in the last couple of days. I did not think I was going to this game like on Friday morning. And then, Friday afternoon, things got developed together. And, yeah, we went. And I'm really glad I did. I mean, seriously, I wouldn't have seen my cousin I hadn't seen in a decade if I didn't go to this game last night. And who knows what the outcome of the game would have been without the energy in the house. And in some ways, I do feel like I bring that energy. I really, really do. I really, really do. Stargate saying Lex is a big Jones fan, for sure. For sure. Andrew Jones is absolutely one of the best coaches in the G League. And he has a real promising future as a head coach in the NBA. I'm going to tell you that right now. He is a keeper. And I would love for him to be around the Raptors organization for as long as possible. But I understand in some ways I want to keep my coach Rajakovic. And, in some ways it's good to have other people that are familiar with your team and your foundation. It could be that something like Andrew Jones finishes this season with the Raptors 905. He goes back to the Raptors bench, and like that's normal. Like he'll come back and he'll be assistant coach on the Raptors main squad. And or he could get lured away. Like I said, I speculated, it's more likely if he gets lured away, it's for a collegiate job, that somebody says, I want you to come and coach this college or university. But the thing is, he has an affinity for the Raptors organization. If things go weird in the future or anything happens, he could be on a short list to be head coach of the Raptors at some point. Seriously. I want Darko to be like Pop and stick around for decades. I want him to be absolutely as successful as possible. But it's good to have people just in case things go weird or screwy on a list of people that are favorable to possibly consider. Jama's another one. Jama Mahahalea. Being a Canadian and his ties to our team, he is very much definitely an option for the Raptors franchise in the future if we ever get to that point. I'm not saying anything about wanting to get rid of Darko. No. Don't get me twisted. But just like we had Nick Nurse around with Dwayne Casey, that kind of stuff, just in case. It's just in case things are, go wrong in some sort of way. Raptors champs saying Scotty's assists are so elite. He passes where you need to be, not where you are. Yeah, it's interesting. I like players that are active and aggressive to the point where if somebody passes you a ball and it's not totally cleanly to where you are, you go get it. Like there's so many guys in the league that are so lazy that just stand there and watch the ball go out of bounds. It's like if you're smart enough and you can anticipate the ball's not coming directly to you and you can move your feet, go fucking get it. Why would you just let it go out of bounds? This, like, you can see it. And I see people like Elijah, Grady, Emmanuel, different people covering up for bad passes. Because there was some crazy ass shit in the game last night. There was just chaos. The ball was loose and it go this way. And they're like, all of a sudden this guy's got it. And they're scrambling on the floor, partly because of the aggressiveness of the Sixers defense and just being shit disturbers and the ball not being totally cleanly passed by the Raptors. So something gets dislodged, but it's a half. It's a ball that's up for grabs and it's like just chasing it. It's a 50-50 ball. But then like the two teams are not totally getting it cleanly and then it's bouncing over to another two players and they're trying to bounce it around between them. There was a bit of that last night. It was really interesting. And that's where teams that hustle the hardest and work the hardest or get after the hardest get it. That's what it is. And the Sixers are a good test for this. These Atlantic Division teams, other than the Nets, are so a good test for this aspect. The Knicks, the Celtics, and the Sixers. And I love stuff like where, the Sixers on the floor, like it's Maxey on the floor, and all of a sudden Collins putting his hands on the ball too, and the referees are calling jump ball. They're calling a jump ball. And that's, in some ways giving us a chance to get the possession with, tying up the ball by grabbing it while they're holding it too. And did you guys notice Natalie did all the jump balls last night? It was almost like they were training Natalie on doing more and more jump balls because she's not often the crew chief. And she did the initial jump ball and then all the rest of the jump balls for the rest of the game. So I feel like referee Sego was actually concentrating on her jump ball skills last night. And she got to do like 4 or 5 jump balls last night, including at the beginning of the overtime. So that was interesting, man. That was interesting stuff right there. Let's see. Infamous is saying, salute freaks. Lex, you need to start purchasing more Martin and CMB stocks. They're going up. Get it early. Hey, I have no problem with that. All the stocks that are Raptors, I got them. I've got those stocks. I know in some ways you guys said I've been hard on Elijah, but it's tough love. And in some ways, look, that guy, he said in the interview last night, he's got a great support system. He's got the right people around him that are kind of keeping him in check with his ego and keeping him on track with what he needs to do. Man, he's a good one. Like, the more I discover about Elijah, the more I'm understanding why he is who he is. And he's just a really good one. He's an aggressive, very hardworking guy, but he's also got the right humbleness and groundedness as who he is. He's going to be successful. I think he is. You guys are starting to get me to come around on this. Seriously, I think he is. Yeah. Nins is here. Good to see Nins, our guy in Philly. This is the thing. We play Philadelphia. We beat him by a 1-point game here, and this guy's going crazy. This man lives in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Nins is one of our admins for this channel and our Discord server. We appreciate you, Nins. And yeah, you say, don't ever touch Scotty like that again. So good. So good, man. So good. Daddy Gates is saying this is Elijah, not Isaiah. That's right. Seymour's saying it's an SEC thing, Florida State, South Carolina. That's not SEC. We're ACC in Florida State. Florida's SEC. You could say it's that. It makes me mad because we're ACC. Scotty and I are Atlantic Coast Conference. Florida State plays for them. Colin is SEC because he's South Carolina, and Elijah is SEC because he's Florida. So yeah, it's a SEC thing, but don't put that state in there. It's Florida and South Carolina is SEC, and Kentucky too with Emmanuel. But yeah, Florida State, Scotty, that's Atlantic Coast Conference, and that is Florida State. That's Florida State. Yeah. Let's see. New Jack City, Colin Murray-Boyles. We all got cash money, brother. Okay, man. Yeah, I love this passion after the second dunk on the dump off to him. When he ran across the court, he looked so fired up coming back from that second dunk late. Shaq Lindsay saying, you draft players that have a mentality of winning that sacrifice for the team by coming up in big moments and parts of their game. That is the one big thing that is a common thread between both teams and the Raptors organization is that these guys are team players. There really is no ego. You know, even a guy like Brandon, who's absolutely a top-notch offensive player, and in the old NBA, he would just get coveted and shown off as the really go-to guy and really doted on. He's not really got that energy where he's just trying to take whatever he wants all the time when he's playing for us. He really is trying to play a balanced game where he's putting in the effort, the time, and his contribution to the other side of the floor, other than just the scoring. That's really interesting to me because in a lot of teams' ecosystems, the scorer is very easily saying, yeah, I don't need to do that. I make the points. You go get this. You get the steals. You get the blocks. You get the rebounds. I'll make the points. That's a testament to like the team mentality that Darko's built with our team. That a high-level offensive talent like Brandon Ingram, who's 10 years into his career, is really buying into fleshing out his whole entire game other than the scoring. That's a real testament to that right there, man. That's the team. That's team mentality right there for sure. Yeah, Stargate saying IQ is becoming pretty good, clutch player, no pun intended. Yeah, because he's like that, and I knew that when he came to our team. I was like, dude, why are you guys upset we got IQ? Because IQ is a clutch guy. He's gonna make big shots, and like I said, he has the balls to shoot them. And not everybody does. Invis saying it's sad no one's talking about Quickly. The dude had 20 points, 7 assists, 5 rebounds, 4 steals. We don't win without him. Let's give him some credit. That's exactly right. And I made sure to do it today. That's for sure. Seymour saying, you will hear from me Thursday, Lex. 4 quarters equals $1. Okay, so you can't call in right now, but you'll do the 4 quarters with Seymour Pape on Thursday? All right. I'll take that. Fiercey's got Quick on blast. I like that. Wayne's here. Good to see Wayne. Morning, Raptor Freaks. Great win. Speaking on Elijah and Shed as winners who played and contributed positively, then Chucky comes up, who was unavailable. Freaks' focus is bizarre to me. I don't know. I think it was because somebody was saying that for sure Chucky's going to be this and this. I just try and keep us grounded in reality. Maybe that's the duality of me being such a positive fan for the Raptors is for my own credibility to not seem like I'm an absolute homer. I have to ground in reality the situations for each individual player and kind of talk about it. It's tough with people like Grady. You got to balance being encouraging and being fair, but also being kind of like, this is what's going on. Do you know what I'm saying? Like somebody said something about Chucky earlier that made me think, no, you're getting ahead of yourself. Nothing is promised for Chucky, and Chucky is going to have to, this is really bad that he got hurt. I'm just saying, man, this is really bad for his career because he's undrafted. He's not even a second round pick. And this sometimes is enough for somebody to just lose their NBA like dream like that. Sometimes this is enough. Trust me. Ask Marquise Noel. Ask Marquise Noel. He can tell you. Yeah. Salute to the sergeant. I love it. Yeah. Yeah. All the freaks. That's right. Edgar's here again. Good to see Edgar back in the chat. Podcast P needs to commit to the mic. Podcast P. You mean Paul George? I don't know, man. Maybe you think he should just retire and stop stealing money from NBA teams and just go straight into podcasting and just do that all the time? Okay. Yeah, that may be right. That may be right. Yeah. Kaz is saluting the sheriff. Bryce is saying, you get frustrated when Martin misses shots, but not IQ. Yeah, because in some ways he doesn't have the right to do that totally with the service and what he's done. Those shots were wide open for Elijah, and I've been watching him on 905 very closely. And when he has those shots in 905, he makes them. And I know in some ways it's the brighter lights, the louder crowd, the bigger team, you're playing, the tougher everything about it. But that doesn't mean, like, when you have an open shot, you need to make those. And I'll be critical of all the guys who missed threes last night, all of them. It's just that late, we saw Elijah taking a lot of shots late that maybe he shouldn't have been taking those shots, but he did because of the flow of the offense, because he's still a rookie and he's still only playing in his like 5th game ever. And he hadn't scored any points in the NBA until the last game. And this is the 2nd game he scored points in. So in some ways, it's kind of rushing him into a high pressure situation late, Bryce, that I'm not totally comfortable with. In some ways, the fact that he's even out on the court in those moments like that is awesome. But the fact that he's also taking crucial possessions and trying to make the shots and he's not making them, in some ways, he hasn't built that up to that point in my head. And it was frustrating me that he was taking those shots and missing them. Because I know 905, when he's taking the open threes in the 4th quarter, he's hitting them. And I wanted him to hit them. That's why I was frustrated. He hits them, everything's fine. But when he's taking open threes late in the game and he's taking shots and he's missing more than he's making, yeah. I mean, it goes for both of them. In some ways, IQ, I'm not going to talk shit about IQ right now. I'm protecting him because too many people are talking shit about him. In some ways, it's easier for me to be constructively criticizing Elijah right now while he's still starting out than dumping on and grabbing a pitchfork and a torch like everybody else to come after Emmanuel. Does that make sense? That's part of it right there. I was frustrated because I didn't think he should have been shooting that much late in the game. He had to, though, because he was open and those shots were there for him. So I get it. Yeah, I get it. Bryce is saying nothing frustrates me more than when IQ misses the floater. I don't care about him taking up pull-up threes. We need a player that can do that, and he can. But when he misses any easy floater, I pull my hair. Yeah, but he's not the only one missing stuff down there. And honestly, he made a lot of those last night. I mean, him and Shed were very good around the basket with some of those little flip shots. So he's hit and miss, just like a shooter is. And I'll ride or die with Emmanuel. I know that he can frustrate people, but there's way more he's doing to help us than hurt us. Trust me, he is. He's doing way more to help us than hurt us. Stargate saying, my theory on why our injuries pile up is because other teams are allowed to be overly physical with us. That puts unwarranted stress on players' bodies. This causing wear and tear to the injuries. I mean, it's not any more than anybody else. I think it's all the same across the league. I don't think it's specially for us any kind of different. I mean, injuries are way more common this year because this league has pivoted into a play hard kind of mentality where everybody's going all out. And there's a lot more energy expended in NBA games all of a sudden. The NBA started getting slowed down and kind of like bad to watch because people are so lazy on the court. And in the last few years, we've seen the trend going towards this more and more, and it's fantastic. It's been very good for the game. In fact, it's made you feel like these guys actually really earn their money like more than ever because they have to be so many different things and work so hard. there was a period of time during the 2010s where I was like, these NBA guys are just, they're not earning their money, man. They're lazy. They just stand around. They're very casual and slow. The finals last year caused a lot of this. The Thunder and the Pacers were both play hard teams, and everybody's a copycat. And they see what works, they try and copycat it, right? That's what they try and do. All right, we are going to get a call from Seymour today, I guess, apparently. 4 quarters with Seymour Pape. Hello, sir.
Yo, hold on. We're not doing the 4 quarters. I have a question for you.
Sure.
You know how Trae Young got traded, right?
Yeah.
Do you think that the league tampered with that too and pushed that trade? The reason why I'm saying that is the whole situation with Luka and Trae, because they were sort of compared. Remember, they were traded for each other on draft.
Yep.
Then Luka went to LA, but there was some collusion there with Nico and Dallas and LA and everything. And it looked bad. The league got called out by every other team because everybody's seen it, right?
Sure.
Do you think the league pushed this the Trae Young deal to Washington to sort of cover up for the whole tampering with Luka? Because all the people who were supposed to get moved, from Ja Morant, Anthony Davis, Giannis, we heard a whole lot of names of players that were on the market, and then Trae's name came up, and then he got moved like that. It was like a blink of an eye. Do you think the league tampered with that and pushed the deal sort of to cover up for the Luka thing, or am I just
I would say maybe instead of bringing the Luka thing into it, do you think that the league maybe wanted to have a shakeup move that made the league fresh a little bit? Is that what you kind of mean? Because that's what I see it as.
Yeah, I think the league has something to do with Trae going to Washington. I don't think it was just the organizations that came together and said, hey, we want Trae, this and that. I think the league has something behind this. So, like, you might be right. They wanted a new menu for people
they like people, because a lot of the fans like the new feel of movement in the league, and sometimes I do feel like the NBA encourages trades because they want to shake things up and make it feel new and fresh. Now, I don't think what you're saying is true, though. I don't think the NBA did anything to do with this. I think that what happened was the thing that was going on with Trae Young around the team was getting to such a level of toxicity that the Hawks needed to get him the hell away from their team by any means necessary, because the writing was on the wall. You leave a guy like that who's a franchise icon, who's played for the team for a long time, and he's on his way out and he's disgruntled. He could be very toxic to the existing team if he's still lingering around and traveling with them everywhere. And I think that was the big thing that lit the fire under them to get this job done. And Trae was all about it too, because he knew that it was like, why are we waiting? Let's just do it. Some experts have been saying, why did the Hawks do it now instead of waiting until after the season? I think that's why. It's because they couldn't have him around anymore. Because first of all, I think he wasn't getting along with his teammates at this point, and that it was a super toxic situation. So
yeah, because the same issues he had with James Johnson or Jalen Johnson, whatever that guy's name is, it's the same complaining he did about John Collins, and they moved John Collins, and they didn't really progress to anything. So it's like, Trae, maybe it's you who needs to go.
Yeah, and I got that feeling from the energy from them. We played 2 games against the Hawks recently, beat them both times, and I could tell, like, there's weird energy between Johnson and Young. I could tell, because in some ways it's like, when you think about it, it's kind of like the weird energy that Fred and Scotty had. It's kind of like, it's kind of like that. And it may be that they're cool with each other and actually friends, just like Fred and Scotty, but it's like, this is the future and you're the past, and this is what's happening.
Exactly how I see it. Like, you think you have the keys to the car, but we're letting the car out to somebody else at night, and you just don't know it. And you know what I mean? It's another thing I got to run by.
Sure.
Okay, the offense for us, I really like our offense. I think we don't stall out. Like, we have automatic go-getters for basket. Like, I'll throw Martin in there. IQ can put up baskets. Scotty, Ingram, the list goes on, right? Before you said that you like what we have at the 5. You don't want to really add anything. But do you think we should go get a defensive-minded 5, someone who clogs up the inside? You're not driving on us. Like, we need because to me, CMB's good at that. In there, he's sort of like an Oakley in there, in the middle. Like, mean, and a defensive anchor, but do you think a defensive big is what we need to hold down? Because we don't need an offensive big. We don't need an offensive big.
Yeah, no, I agree. That's why I was so big on Orlando Robinson last year, and why I was really hoping that he would continue with us this past off season, because I felt like he fit everything we needed, like in that department last year when we had him. I would say this, last night they didn't have Embiid playing. They're going to have him playing tonight, and if we don't have Yak back tonight, we will see a good test for Scotty and Colin and Sandro without a true center around as far as like holding him down. And that will teach us whether we have the need for this or not. Sure, the Colin and Scotty tag team has been holding things down in a very successful way recently for us. But let's not get it twisted. Some of these games we've been playing recently don't have true centers that are a big problem, like Joel or Nicola. And that's the thing. We're going to play Joel tonight. That'll be a good test for this to see how it is, if we still need this. And then also going on the West Coast trip in this month coming up, where we're going to see people like Zubac and the Clippers and different people like that. These are the good tests for exposing us on where we are in trouble still. And I think you're right. I think we do still need shoring up, especially if Yak's going to be in and out and he's not dependable, because he's that guy when he's healthy. He's that guy. He's fine. But if it is really a case where Jakob is not going to be depended on for availability because of his back, we definitely do need to get this person. And Mobamba was not them. And maybe it is a trade with a couple of wings from our team going to another team to get an established big that's already an NBA big that can do stuff. So.
And you know what's crazy too? I was sitting there thinking, like, Jakob's been on the shelf for a while now. Like, most other teams would get an injury exemption. Like, they'd be able to bring in somebody else due to the amount of time he's been out. But then again, you look at this, like, we're back to square one. Even if we get the exemption, the question is, who do we bring in, right?
Like, yeah. You know I mean, I still like the guy who was sitting next to me last night, Jonathan. He was bringing up Daniel Gafford again last night. I'm really big on Day'Ron. Like, I think that Day'Ron Sharpe, if we could get him here in some sort of deal, maybe it's around with Abaji, that might be really a good fix, easy, like little simple deal. Like, if you don't have to send anything other than Abaji straight up for Day'Ron Sharpe, if that lines up and fits, that may be the switch right there. Seriously, because Day'Ron, like, once again, he's a buddy with Scott. He's his best friends. They've got a lot of time spent hanging around, so he may be acclimatized to the Raptors' ways faster, partly because of that. So I'm really big. Like, if we're going to go get a big and we need him to be what you just described, is a more defensive big, Day'Ron Sharpe's the guy. I think he is.
Naz Reid he's not in the fold.
Well, Naz Reid is a higher pay grade, right? And he's a little bit more offensively skilled, right? So you pay more for that. And as you said earlier in the call, it's like we don't really need the offense from that position. We just need, because if we can get a cheap big guy that can foul and rebound and clog the lane, that's really what you want, right?
Yeah. It's a fact. All right, I'm going to get back to throwing up some more shots in this open warehouse.
Man, that's awesome, man. That your boss set up a basketball goal at your work and you can shoot around when you're waiting for trucks to come and unload.
Yeah, that's how we do.
That's awesome, man. You live in a charmed life. I hope you take that moment every day to have gratitude for that, Seymour. And you know what? Should I give another dunk to your boss for this setup?
Yeah, for sure. I'm going to send a video. I'm going to get a dunk in here, and I'm going to post it in the chat. I'll measure the rim up so you guys can see it's 10 feet too.
Okay.
And I'll throw the slam down and put it in on the Facebook chat. But y'all have a great day.
All right.
It down. Raptors, let's get another win.
That's right. See, this man's actually like shooting hoops right now while he's talking to us, man. All right, Seymour's boss got the 3. He's got the BI 3 right there. See, Seymour's boss is awesome. Thank you for calling. Let's go Raptors. Yeah. Oh. That's so awesome, man. That man is at work. He's calling the call-in show and he's putting up hoops. What a life, man. That guy is living it right, bro. That guy is living it right, man. Seriously, man. All right, let me keep going. Wayne's saying this. Daddy, Stargate, really, somebody stepping on your foot or twisting your ankle or jamming your thumb has nothing to do with physicality. Think, please. And Stargate saying, is it me or is Kelly Oubre seem to be auditioning to be a Raptor? His play was weird last night. Anybody else notice? I didn't catch that. That's interesting. Oubre had a really bright moment at the beginning of the third. He came out after halftime and torched us. Kelly's been hurt for about a couple months, honestly. He's been on my fantasy injured list for a long time, and he just came back recently. And Nick was talking about Kelly Oubre Jr. Around the interviews around the game, saying that he was actually happy to see him actually score some last night, because since he's returned from injury, he's been good, like getting up and down the court and defensively, but he hasn't really captured his offensive stuff yet. So it was a bright sign to Nick Nurse and the Sixers staff that Kelly Oubre went off at the beginning of the third quarter and scored I think he scored their first 8 points or something in the third quarter when we were really in a bad place. So he was kind of keying something against us. He's been a little bit on the down low, Raptor killer in some ways. And if that's what you're inferring, Raptor killers get signed and come around and play on for our team. That does happen. That is true. That is true right there. Yeah, man. Yeah. Yeah. Raptors champ saying, damn, Nick, 11 assist game. That's signature Nick Nurse team stats. I mean, we put up with it for a long time where it's like our Raptors just don't get assists. Like, what is this? That's why Darko's such a fresh breath of air after having Nick, is because that's really one of the biggest differences between the two of them as coaches is Darko really values assists and moving the ball around. Meanwhile, Nick Nurse is a non-ball movement coach because his theory is, I don't want to move the ball around too much because the more you move the ball around, you're open to turnovers. Well, how'd that work out for you last night, Nick? Getting 22 turnovers with your, let's not move the ball around because it allows more chances that they get picked off. You still got the ball turned over for 22 turnovers, Nick, in your philosophies. That's right. Basketball is a passing sport. It's a team sport. And in some ways, Nick Nurse's tenement of that is very anti-winning basketball. And it was while he was our coach also at that time. Yeah, it really was, man. Stargate saying, Wayne, I'm not talking about those type of injuries, obviously. And watch your mouth with me about think, please. I'm not that guy. You guys are both grown men. And let's treat each other like that in some ways. I know that Sergeant at Arms, Wayne's trainer, is a vigilant person for no nonsense. And I like that mentality. But Stargate is too. You guys are birds of a feather. And y'all are on the same side. I know in some ways I've been a little cantankerous and feisty about some opinions, and Wayne's going to call me out on it. That's fine. In some ways, that's what he does. He's like our bailiff, guys, in our stream. And in some ways, maybe he's directing in the wrong way. Stargate, I wouldn't take it personally. And honestly, Wayne, I would say maybe don't come after everybody totally like this. Maybe come at it with general opinions and just make your opinions known without targeting either myself or Stargate, is what I would say. You could make the counterpoint without actually calling somebody out, is what I'm saying. Jimmy's here. Go Raps, get the second dub, and screw Philly. There you go. I love that. Jimmy Pope, you're going to get a dunk for something simple and very specific. It's like, let's just get this win, get the second one, and beat them down. That's right. Where's Jimmy Pope on here? There you go. You're getting your first dunk of the year. You're at a notorious BI3. That's right. Let's see. Kenny's here. Good to see original Raptor Freak Kenny, one of the original subscriptions to this channel. I'm here to say bench Grady and Oshai and play Elijah and Lawson and Battle. Yeah, I mean, we see Elijah's X factor, winning, getting after it, defense. We see Lawson's speed. And in some ways, Lawson is like a really interesting instant, like hyper drive for the game. And he'll get a couple steals real quick. He's very active. He's getting after it. I'm all for this. And then you got this side to Battle where he's a big. It's weird. It's like Jamison Battle when he came to us undrafted that summer. I was like, oh, he's a three-point specialist. He's going to shoot a lot of threes. Wow, he's really good. He shoots so many threes. He makes them all. But this whole development of his body where he got stronger in the last year or so, and now he's in there mixing it up and getting rebounds and being a very physical defender. He's made way more value for himself and longevity in the league. And we're seeing way more of Jamison kind of habitating in the lane and finding success. And that is absolutely encouraging to give him more burn out there on the court, for sure. I will not disagree with you, Kenny. In some ways, I give Oshai still some more chances. and we do kind of maybe need to market him a little bit around the trade deadline. Grady, I don't know what to do with him, man. In some ways, we give him a little bit, and hopefully he just succeeds and builds from that. But in some ways, it's like it's a hit or miss on a game-by-game basis with Grady Dick. And in some ways, I wish he would be hitting more often those open threes. That's the biggest one right there. Kaloy saying, morning, everyone. Great game last night. Elijah's so good. Darko has to play him with a healthy roster. Book it. That's the thing. And somebody was saying this after the game in the analysis. What does the Raptors have to do when they're healthy? How do they fit all these guys in? Because Shed, Colin, and Elijah in some ways should be regular rotation players for the contributions to how they help us win. You know, Colin may not be starting when we get our full starters back, but a lot of people already want him to be the starter in some ways. I mean, you know, if Yak really is going to have issues with his back and he can't fully be the full starter that he's supposed to be, even if he comes off the bench as a starter, as a center that kind of does the defensive stuff we were just talking about, and that's the look that's coming up, that would be interesting, that flip. But that's the thing. Yak needs to get his back healthy and try and reclaim his starting spot. And I'm sure he will. But man, what does that look like with Colin starting in the place of him? It's maybe only works for smaller teams. And when we have big teams, you got to start Yak. You got to start Yak. I think that may be the solution right there. If we are going to start trying to start Colin more often, I think that may be the solution right there. But man, I wouldn't want to take that starting position from Jakob, because Jakob, if he's healthy and he's really playing at a high level, he's helping us so much. And he's a true center. And Colin is not. And that's a little bit, Wayne saying Oshai had a short stint, but very good. He played well. Stargate, which injuries you're referring to? Yak is his back before the season. BI and Scotty are their thumbs. Jacoby, I'm not sure. What are you saying? It was a hip injury. And that thing with Jacoby, he just ran into somebody and kind of banged into them. That's all that was, I think. Yeah. Raptors champ saying, Colin Murray-Boyles won my defensive love when I seen him clamp down on Wemby. Yeah, that's a tough assignment. That's a tough assignment for sure. Kaloy saying this Serbian man has the stuff. He got these guys improving each game. I agree with that. Kenny saying I extended my kid's bedtime because of the game. Laugh out loud. Worth it. No, those are learning moments. And I'll bet your kids enjoyed that, Kenny. They were like, wow, Dad, we really get to stay up. Yes, that's right, kids. Those are the memories that are come back. They're amazing. I saw some poor soul on social media last night say I cut the game off at the end of regulation because I didn't think they had any chance. I'm so sick of fans of the Raptors giving up on them too early and then coming around saying, I didn't even know they did this afterwards, and being shocked. Stop doing this. Why do you doubt them? Why do you not watch it all the way to the bitter end or the very victorious end to make sure everybody who's leaving games early because of margins and like the third quarter, you're idiots. You paid a good money to go to a Raptors game. Why would you leave the arena just because the Raptors are down by 15 halfway through the third quarter? Like, seriously, you don't understand basketball if you're leaving like that. It's a game of runs. And everybody who missed the overtime and everything that happened last night, you deserve to miss it because you didn't hang with your team and go all the way through with it. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. That's so good, Kenny. You're a good dad, is what I'll say. Jimmy's saying this. We are going to be very dangerous when we have everyone back and healthy. Pray for Yak and his back. Yeah. Yeah, in the man, we're young too. This is the crazy thing. We're having really good success. One of the things about the Raptors this year is we're one of the best clutch teams in close games. That's a sign that we have winners. That's a sign that we have a tactician of a coach that's really getting our guys organized. And that's a sign that we have to get up and go to execute and take games when they're close at the end of games. And that's amidst 8 versus 5. That's amidst ref hit jobs like last night. That is impressive. That is seriously impressive. And we're young and we're still growing and we can get better. We could think about this. The Raptors are doing this and having a win effect. But what when we polish things up like the Knicks and the Celtics are? What are we going to be then? Like, seriously, it's crazy the potential for what we are and what we're already doing in success already. If you really think about it, guys, if you really, really, really think about it. Stargate saying, Wayne, I don't do chat room back and forth debating. If you don't agree, that's fine. But I'm not about to get into a big type discussion about it. That's very mature response, Stargate, and I appreciate that. In fact, I'll give you a dunk for it. It's like, listen, guys, I don't want you guys to fight with each other. We got to talk shit about Embiid. That's what we should be doing. That's what we should be doing this morning. All right, we're Stargate on the chat. Here we go. You got your number 6. You got the Corey Joseph out of Pickering. Number 6, my guy. You got a real one with the 6. That's right. That's right. Let's see. Chloe saying, where is that guy that doubted the Elijah pick? Where are they now? I did. I doubted it because I wanted to get a center at that spot in the second round last year. But Bobby is like, I want to get a winner, Raptors freak. So I'm going to get a winner. In some ways, these center guys, they could be busts. There's no, strong, that's what it is. In some ways, Bobby's getting people on a sure bet, whether it's Colin, whether it's Scotty, whether it's Elijah, Jamal. These are a sure bet. Like these guys are DNA winning. And in some ways, this is why we get these guys. This is why we get them. And in some ways, I was like, why did we get a small guard in the second round of last year's draft? Oh, he's the NCAA championship. Oh, is this like a Marquise Noel pickup? Something like that? What is this? Oh, wait. Okay, there's an X factor. And there's something else about that. That's right. That's right. Don't forgive us, Kaloy, that we wanted a backup center named Maxime Renault in the second round of the draft last year. Yeah. Stargate saying IQ played well last night. Don't understand why people are still on this IQ slander today. It's nonsensical. Well, it's just people are singing the same parroted song. In some ways, it's fueled by Jake Fisher's bullshit, talking about how nobody wants IQ's contract, that he's just like, we shopped him around. We tried to trade him. Well, I don't think this is true. And everybody's saying the People's reporter, Jake Fisher. Fuck that guy. He's not the People's reporter. He's a hack that lives in New Jersey who talks shit about the Raptors because he's in that market in New York, and his teams are those teams. The people don't know that. He's a journalist, sure, but every journalist has a proclivity somewhere underneath and who they kind of rooted for when they were a kid, right? You're not a journalist when you're a kid, right? So Jake Fisher liked basketball at some point, right? What team do you think is his favorite team in the entire world? Probably the Knicks. Probably the Knicks. He probably wouldn't divulge this publicly because he doesn't want to hurt his credibility or favoritism. But if you had a gun to his head and made him tell you, who's your favorite team, Jake Fisher? Who's your favorite team? He'd tell you, oh, it's the New York Knicks, okay? It's the New York Knicks. Ah, don't shoot me. I mean, why are we taking information from this guy? Seriously. He's stateside. He doesn't come around our team in person physically, yet he knows what's going on with our team. No, he doesn't. He doesn't know jack shit. Nobody should be listening to Jake Fisher. Seriously. He feeds the fire against IQ. Trust me. Fiercey's saying this. It should give me a cutoff. This is good. I need it because we're going to go. We're at 316 right now. Okay, Austin. That's right. W Stream fam. Lex needs to recuperate from yesterday's madness. I'm hungry. Actually, my stomach's growling. And I probably will. I haven't done any of the segments still. I got a lot to do. Have the best week. All right, Isaac. Thank you. Great Criscom's in the house. Another Raptor freak checking in. How about them Raps? Laugh out loud. This is the last time I'll say this. Best young foundation in Raptors history. I said it before the season started. Martin making me look good, and Chucky is coming soon too. I think that we do have the best young crop of young players as a whole throughout the whole. Because part of it is it's the starters with the bench. You could say Scotty, IQ, and RJ are young players that are still developing. In the past, the Raptors would have maybe a core group like the bench mob, but the older guys are in the starters. JV, DeRozan, and Lowry, they're not really looked at as like young guys, a young core. We have an all-round young core other than maybe Jakob and Brandon. And that's interesting. That's interesting. And I would agree with this. Chris comes saying this is the best young foundation. Yeah, I agree with this. And we're going to get better results from it because we actually have a coach that develops people. That's right. Yeah, and we're playing you again tonight, Nick. Yeah, does that hurt? Does that hurt what I just said? Raptors Champs is saying we'll take Boston's playbook while they take our players. Yeah. I mean, look, if it works against us, why wouldn't we try something similar to what they do? And it seems like it's very fortuitous. The quick shed lineups have been fantastic. You put Elijah in there with them. Wow. Interesting. Interesting. James is saying I would target Chris Paul and Brook Lopez, get some proper vets for a playoff run. No. Chris Paul, in some ways, he might actually work in our ecosystem because he would find that we're working hard and he wouldn't get mad. That's been part of the problem with Chris Paul the last couple stops is he's just disgusted with the effort of the team and what they're doing. And that's why he had to leave the Clippers this year. He'd probably be fine with coming in with the work ethic, but do we need him in Toronto? No, because we got a lot of good back point guards already, and he wouldn't find time. Brooke Lopez, I've heard this trade rumor recently, and I'm like, this is stupid. So, yeah, no, James, I'm not with the older guys like you're putting in front of us right here. Kaloy saying, I may be too much with what I'm about to say. I know Edgecombe was making major shots last night, but I don't see much difference with Edgecombe and Elijah. Edgecombe just has more opportunity. This is really an interesting comment by Kaloy. I'm not going to say you're too crazy. The difference between those guys is probably not as far as everybody thinks, because in some ways it's like, okay, Edgecombe, Baylor, he may, he got a spotlight, but Elijah got a spotlight too. There are a lot of similarities between the two of them. The athleticism of both of them is fantastic. Yeah, I don't know. This is a very interesting comment. I'll give credence to it, and I'll second you on this. I don't think there is a vast difference between those two players. And if you think about where they were drafted, that's very interesting. That's very interesting. Chris comes saying, defense, casuals can learn from this. Another tough game tonight. I'm looking for Sandro to have a bounce back game and those defensive guards to do their thing again. I'm totally with that. Totally with that. Sandro better have a better game tonight because we're going to need him. We're going to need size tonight. That's for sure. Big dummy is going to be back, and he'll be playing tonight. That's right. Kaloy's saying, Lex, scold me for being too much of a homer for Elijah. No, I like this idea because there is a lot of similarities. It's like VJ's making threes. VJ's making athletic drives and getting up in the air. There's a lot of similarities. I wouldn't put this past. I would even say this, all right? Maybe VJ Edgecombe has the edge on the offensive end, but not on the defensive end. Like Elijah Martin has the better defensive game. He does seem like he's that kind of guy. It's like, I just like the challenge of guarding people. That sounds like Scotty. That sounds like Jamal. These guys just want to guard the hardest people to guard, and Elijah's like that too. Now, I'm not scolding you. I'll get behind you on this. Yeah. Raps Champs is saying Elijah might have tunnel vision at times, but he is really trying to prove himself, I think. I do love the trash talking, though, from Elijah. RJ and Barnes amped them up and beat them down for the win. Yeah, they got to back it up. So it's like, as long as y'all are winning, go ahead and trash talk. But don't be trash talking when you're kind of a losing team over and over again. You could do it if you walk the walk and you get the W. You can do it. That's right. Kaloy's saying, I think we have a special coach, people. Special coach alert. Special coach? Who's the special coach? Yo, what's happening? Ricky Diehard, sports fan. Good morning, Ricky. Thanks for the subscription. Yo, what's happening? It's a good TV show. Let's see. I don't know. Who's the special coach, people? Who's the special coach? Oh, Darko. He's our special coach. Neil's saying this. We have less than 42 regular games, so the two-way are good for tapping into for the rest of the season. Yeah, but we played. He's been sitting at games and not playing some of those games. So it's not exactly right. We'd have to check his eligibility exactly and see where it's with the 50. Because it maybe we ate into, like, out of his 50 games, like, I don't know. I would probably guesstimate, if I'm literally thinking about it, maybe we've eaten like 15 of his games already. Even though he's played like 5, maybe it's like 12. So maybe he has like 38 games still eligible. So it's not completely the full rest of the season, something like that. Neil's saying we win tonight, and that means we won the series against the Sixers. If not, we break even. Either way, we're still on top. And hopefully, even if we tie with them, we have the tiebreaker somehow. I don't know. This could very much be one of the most important series to win out of all the teams in the East for seeding in the playoffs. I mean, the Sixers are right next to us, and they may be very close to us for most of the rest of the year. So this may be very, very, very important to win tonight. Very, very important for sure. Yeah, I can see that. The switching defense was good with Elijah on the court. He's active. He's getting after it. He's got dog. That's right. Infamous saying, you're tired and have a busy chat. I will not call in today with respect to that. Great win. Enjoy your day, Lex. So we're not getting the infamous 6, but we got Seymour and we got Blackhawk and we got Omari today, which was awesome. That was awesome. Yeah. Infamous, I'll look forward to your next call. Kaloy saying that was a high IQ move from Scotty last night and got the Sixers dumbfounded with the missed free throws. It's a classic NBA basketball play that on any level it makes sense to do. It really does. It's a very smart play. Stargate saying, I said before, Darko reminds me of one of those Eastern Bloc warlords you see in those movies, that rebel leader type. He could definitely play one in an action film. Big up yourself, Darko. How about this? Why don't we put him in the Star Wars world? And he's on Hoth base with the rebels. And he's got the little white hat and the little thing around him. And he's like in Star Wars world with Han Solo and Luke Skywalker. And he's like, Han, I worked on your Millennium Falcon. And we got the new flux capacitor. So you can go into hyperdrive on the Kessel Run or whatever the bullshit. I'm showing my Star Wars nerd side for Carl Lane. But yeah, like that would be funny. Could you see Darko and Hoth being like a rebel leader or something like that? Maybe he's standing in the room with Admiral Akbar. He kind of has a look like he could be in Star Wars, right? Something like that. That's what makes me think of rebels. You say rebels? Oh, Star Wars. The rebels. That's right. A warlord Darko. No, I'm not a warlord. He's for peace. That's right. We got a special coach. That's right. Raptors champ saying these podcasts don't know our team. They always think we need something else. Like we don't have it already. Most of these guys never watch Raptors games. Yeah. I won't disagree with a lot of that, man. Josh ACM7, thank you for the subscription. He's saying, hey, brother, hope you had a great holiday season. Just a word on the officiating. My goodness. Even by NBA standards, last night was absolutely brutal. It just shows how powerful our team is to overcome that and make it happen. It's amazing. Honestly, I'm so proud of them. Like I said, the crowd could have gave up on them. They could have gave up on themselves. Their coach could have given up on them. There's so many different areas where if we're not all on the same page with the energy in the arena, they falter and they don't get a very, very close 1-point win. Josh, thanks for the subscription and the comment, man. I hope I hear more from you, man. Yeah, it was tough. And you know what? I think that other NBA fans see it too. It's like if you get an impartial fan that's not a Philly or a Raptors fan, and they watched the highlights from last night, they're probably saying, because a lot of Philly fans are trying to say that the refs helped us win last night, which is crazy. This is crazy. They lost, so they want to feel like that and say, oh, they helped you because of the challenges. I'm like, no, the challenges were determined, and that's crazy that you think the challenges were the reason why the Raptors won. Yeah, that is true, but they were rightfully called. You think that they were called wrong. That's not true. That's not true. But yeah, it's amazing, man. It's amazing. And wow, the Raptors are a powerful team. That's what I say right there. Randolph's here. Good morning to Randolph. Good morning, Raptor Freaks. Family blessings. There is some things that are inevitable. If they are negative and harmful, you have the power to protect yourself from the effects. Control what you can. Peace. I love that. Good words of wisdom from Randolph Phillips. That's right. Yeah, I don't even know what to comment on this. I have a bit of fatigue. I'm just going to say blessings to the Phillips family and all the Raptor Freak families. That's right. Neil's saying, well, bet you Mobo plays tonight to help with the rebounding. That may be very smart. Honestly, Jonathan's got some time with Embiid in the past already from last year, and he's familiar with him. I think him holding out, not playing at all last night, this is actually really smart. I would expect Rajakovic to give Mobo minutes tonight. Because the game's going bigger, well, we're going to need bigger guys out there. And Jonathan is one of them. And he's done all right. Like he's not a weak link, and he does all right. He can be physical, and he has some really good gifts on the defensive end that are absolutely helpful for us. Absolutely. Raptors champ saying Raps don't need a nurse when we have a doc. And I ain't talking about Rivers. Darko is our coach. Yeah, Nick Nurse is a doctor too, though. He's Dr. Nick Nurse. Guys is saying W Raptor Freak Nins, our beloved Discord mod. Also, 2-finger salute to Big Dummy tonight. There you go. I love that. I gotta watch Run It Back Philly after this to see the crash out. Yeah, I almost watched it, but I was like, I don't want to talk about them. I figure if I watch it, I'll want to opine and talk about them too much. I'll leave that for you guys to go around and get the salty tears of our enemies after a game like last night. I know that Fiercey and a couple other people love to watch Run It Back Philly after we beat them because it's like that. It's entertainment value. I mean, you guys enjoy it, but I know if I talk about it, if I see it, I'll talk about it here. And I don't want to talk about it, so I won't watch it. I'm going to give Nins a dunk on Kaz's behalf because he's giving him a shout out. And Nins does do a lot of behind the scenes stuff to help me out with everything I do with this channel. So, Mr. Nins, you're getting your first dunk of the year. Thank you for being in the chat, Mr. Philly. 3 points on the charts. He's a turncoat, just like Alvin Williams and Kyle Lowry. This is the kind of the best turncoats, the Philly turncoats for the Raptors, the Villanova turncoats of Alvin Williams and Kyle Lowry and Nins. That's right. Isaac's saying next Thursday, cutoff for next Thursday. Okay, you saying I got to go for 2 more days? This is crazy. Stargate saying, if Philly fans believe old, over the hill Paul George and out of shape can hardly walk Joel Embiid is going to somehow save them, they're about to have a rude awakening. The process is long over. That's right. I'm with you on this, man. Like, it's just such a failure. The whole thing with Joel Embiid and the Sixers is going to be just such a failure by the end of it all. And a lot of Sixers fans realize this, and they have for years, and they kind of on the down low want him out. Seriously. See, I can sow the seeds of discontent in other fan nations, make them second guess things, gaslight them too. Yeah, you guys think you'll ever win a championship with Embiid and his knee? Y'all need to cut your losses and get him out of there as soon as possible. Seriously. Because honestly, you're just wasting your time until you do. You're not going to get anywhere with him. He's the end all be all of everything you need to win, and he is not going to get you there because his health will not allow it. So, and Sixers fans know this rings true. And some of them speak out about this in their spaces like crazy. Just like people would talk about Emmanuel here. That's what I'm saying right there, man. Tofu Brian is here. Good morning. It's good to see another new name in the chat. Thanks for the subscription. This game got me emotional. Absolutely everything stacked against our guys. So much heart. Yeah, it was awesome, man. And it was really fun to be in the building and feel it in person. But I'm sure you guys felt it at home watching the game too on TV, because it was one of those kind of games, a roller coaster and very high. Man, how can you not love the NBA in some ways when you get that that ride? It's such a ride. Like I said, I had adrenaline from that game last night, and I had to drive home. And I'll tell you what, driving through the greenbelt of Ontario last night, I was doing some pretty fast speeds because I was like, yeah, I was tearing it up after the game. I was. Bryce is saying, I mean, someone compared Colin to Wes Unseld. That's not a bad comparison, honestly. Wes Unseld is a very interesting player from back in the day. He's a truck. He's just like this dumpy guy that really got a ton of rebounds and was immovable, and you couldn't do anything to him. It's like he could go do whatever he wanted to on the court. So, yeah, Wes Unseld's not a bad comparison for Colin Murray-Boyles in some ways. Stargate saying Wes Unseld or a short version of Xavier McDaniel. Those are two totally different kind of player types. Xavier McDaniel was a high-flying, tough guy who dunked a lot, and he was tough, and he'd start fights and push people around and had muscles. But he's not really like Colin. It's not like Xavier McDaniel was like the rebounding prowess or some of the good hands and stuff like that. Once again, the best comparison for me is Barkley. Because he has that explosive leaping ability. He has the sticky hands. He has the really good steals and blocks like Barkley did too. Barkley was an exceptional rebounder. And that's where I get it. Like a lot of the things, the physical traits and the physical gifts that Colin Murray-Boyles have is the same that Charles Barkley has, except he may not have the offensive game that Barkley has. That's the only thing. Bryce is saying this. Wes is way before my time. I don't really know much about him. If Wes and CMB are similar, I bet he was a hell of a player. Yeah. Well, Wes Unseld's the reason why the Wizards have a championship. They don't have no championship without Wes Unseld. And that was in like 1976. Yeah. I don't really know Wes Unseld because he was before my time too. But when I saw Wes Unseld the first time, he was the GM of the Wizards. And actually, he was the coach. He was the coach first. He wasn't even the GM yet when I first saw him. No, he was a real one. He was a Finals MVP. He was a solidly built guy. And he was a double-double machine in the league for a long, long time. So, yeah, it's a good comparison. Trust me. You guys could go look him up. I don't know how many Wes Unseld highlights you're going to find on YouTube. I don't know how many you will find, but they may be there. It's really like he's before the NBA hit it big with Magic and Larry. He was gone by then already. So let's see. Kaloy saying Bobby is probably betting on Collins' surprise. Getting a second big might hinder Collins' development. but we just might need a low use big whenever we play behemoths. Yeah, that sounds about right. I think that Kaloi's got it about right, all that. But that's what we did with Bamba, and Darko won't play him. Trust Bobby and that great Serbian man. That's right. Have trust in Bobby, have trust in Darko, have trust in Scotty and Emmanuel. That's right. Common Crazy saying no swearing Mondays. I'm sorry, I swore. Mr. Quasimodo saying there are some truths as to why certain players look at us in disdain when you doubt the Raptors that hard. We are family. In some ways, it's hater. Some of it's hater stuff, man. You know, Cavs fans wish in some ways they had things like the Raptors. Seriously, Wizards fans, there's a lot of fan nations around the league that look at the Raptors and what we do as far as our whole organization, Masai, a lot of different things. And they're like, damn, I wish we were more like the Raptors. And haterade, we know how that manifests. Come on now. We know how that does. Yeah, Chloe saying, I forgive you, Lex. Ha ha ha. And my brother's here. Good morning to my brother, Carl. I love you, Carl. Thank you for supporting this channel. And happy Monday, freaks. Man, I'm so, you know what? I was telling Kristen this last night when I saw her at the game. I was like, man, I wish I'd seen my brother the week before because he was in town because of a misdirected flight. And he was just in Toronto all of a sudden out of the blue, but I couldn't scramble in time to see him. I'm still regretting this so bad. I have a lot of guilt about this. I love you, Carl, and I love everybody in Atlanta. I miss you guys all the time. Trevor's saying Raptors have the best clutch defensive rating in the NBA this season, #1. That's fantastic. We're winning a lot of close games at the end of the game. That's right. Wayne's saying, wow, went to the meeting and you're still going. Impressive. Yeah, I guess I'm going to get to 4 hours. But after a game like last night, in some ways, this is worth it. It's something we got to get talking about here. G saying, haha, me too. This video represents the team. Resilience, optimism with stamina. Yeah, Lexathon. Yeah, I mean, my throat does get worn out. And even with all the work I put it through last night at the game, it's holding all right. You know what? Let's do a segment real quick while we're off a little bit. Let's do the Instagram stories real quick. Let's see. Jared Roden hit a game-winning shot in Paris. So he actually big time play by Jared. So we see a former Raptor excelling somewhere else, getting the big win for his team, the Paris basketball team. So good job, Jared Roden, looking good in Europe right there. And his words of wisdom, what a privilege it is to be able to wake up and try again and play the Sixers again. That's right. There's Colin Murray-Boyles with the team photo from the back. The team photo was cool. Jacoby was wearing his street clothes because he had been out for a while, looking a little Tyler Creator-ish. Colin's got the shifty mouth. Yak's always in the back looking, where's Waldo? And yeah, there's RJ in the back with his head and Brandon. They're kind of hiding the DMPs. And then we see Shed's doing like a pose like this now. It's kind of weird. He does like his arm like this. I think that Emmanuel's doing the Grady pose now. And so is Colin. So we have like 4 or 5 guys doing the arm pose now with Grady and Jameson. Garrett has a big, very happy smile. And Scotty's got the chain on. And he's got that teeth look. That's crazy. Oshai's got a nice smile. Good stuff. I love the team photos after the wins. Really, really good stuff. Yeah, more highlights from Colin from the game last night, the putback dunks, all kinds of good stuff. Kyle Lowry, what is he putting on his Instagram after a loss to the Raptors last night? Is he posting Philadelphia stuff? Is he posting Raptor stuff? No. Kyle Lowry is celebrating his best friend, DeMar DeRozan, getting 26,000 points in the NBA. He's only the 23rd player in NBA history to get 26,000 points in the history of the whole entire league. People could question whether DeMar is a Hall of Famer. I'm sorry. Once you get to a certain level of scoring points in the league, you're a Hall of Famer. And DeMar DeRozan, you're going to get there. I had this thing that occurred to me after I saw this yesterday. What if DeMar is so good at keeping his body in shape that he plays like even longer than LeBron? And somehow, some way, he gets close to LeBron. Like, what if there's this weird alternate universe where DeMar DeRozan plays this insanely long NBA career because he takes care of himself so much, and he actually catches LeBron and beats him for the scoring title by the end of it all? Wouldn't that be the ultimate, like, comeback from LeBronto? Seriously, guys. Like, my team couldn't beat you when we played you in the playoffs in the 2010s. But you know what? As an individual guy, I'm going to come and get you up there. If he gets anywhere close to LeBron, that would be huge and crazy. I know y'all are saying there's no way he does this, and you're probably right. But what if he did get kind of close to him? I mean, it'd be so tough. And he has a long way to go still, honestly, to get there. He really does. But I love that Kyle's touting DeMar's accomplishment, and that's all he has on his Instagram. He doesn't care about nothing else. Nothing else. Let me see. I may be really quick with the Instagram stories. Let's see. Yeah, historic first quarter for Andrew Jones's 905 team leads to 45-point victory. So nobody's ever done that. 44-11 was the end score at the first quarter of the 905 game last night against Birmingham. 44-11. They scored 11. We scored 44. That's crazy, man. That is crazy stuff, man. Jamal Shed has some highlights from last night, like the steals, and there was Elijah Steele, and he came and followed it up with the dunk. So good, so good. Monique, superfan Mose wrote this about the game last night. I'm gonna do Mo's little thing. 8-1, road to the 6. That's 8-1 for the 905. 24-16, ugly game, but a win is a win. Need the tiebreaker tomorrow. Already have lost it to the Celtics, and the Knicks is currently 0-2. So getting it over Philly is needed. We need BI back tomorrow as well. I completely agree with you, Monique Lawrence. Instant classic. Raps win and OT. Scotty Barnes, you genius. Raptors got some dogs on the team, is what Monique is saying about the game in a recap last night. I love that. I love all of that. Siakam's watching soccer. He's yelling at the screen. Yeah, he's getting all hyped up, man. Siakam is living a good life, even though his Pacers are at the bottom of the league right now. He's living a good life regardless. Let's see what else. There's Elijah coming in the game. You're gonna get more walk-in pictures, Elijah, with the big club. You keep doing what you're doing. That's right. There's Lindsey Dunn interviewing Norman Powell. That's interesting. He's talking about what kind of music he likes. He's into like a Rihanna, Bruno Mars, J. Cole. I don't know. What are they talking about? Music there? Let's see what else we got. Fred VanVleet is getting lauded by his teammates because even though Fred is hurt and out, he could be at home recuperating away from the team. No, he's traveling with the team. He's going to the games. He's sitting on the bench, and he's acting as an extra coach. In fact, a lot of his teammates are giving him credit for part of the reason why the Rockets are doing so well this year, because he's sticking around and mentoring everybody, even though he's hurt and sitting on the bench. So that's a big thing. That's part of the reason why Fred's so awesome and great. So just so y'all know, that's what's happening with that. There's your Instagram stories real quick. Wow, so late in the stream. 3 hours and 40 minutes in, I did the Instagram. That is crazy, man. That's crazy. Stargate saying, yeah, Charles Barkley's the best comparison. This is a good comparison for his athleticism and his body frame and his strength. Seriously, his strength. Charles was a super strong guy, man. That's why he could muscle guys like Alonzo Mourning around. Because look, Alonzo's way bigger than him, taller and bigger than him. But Charles somehow had some crazy, uncanny strength that was beyond his frame. And I feel like that's the truth about Colin Murray-Boyles also. That he's got a strength beyond his size in the NBA that really plays in a crazy way right now. Yeah, Trevor's saying, love what Scotty says. Toronto is super special. Yep. Yep, Scotty covets and values the Toronto fan base and what we do. In some ways, we're part of that. You know, he knows about the Raptor freaks and he knows how passionate we are. And when he talks about how passionate Raptors fans are, he's talking about us. Let's just put it that way. And he's talking about us when he says we show up even when they're winning and losing. It doesn't matter. We show up and we get loud for them. He's talking about us. He's talking about us, specifically us and other great Raptor fans in Raptors Nation. That's right. He's talking about the Raptor freaks. That's right. All right, let me see. Let's see. Is there anything else? Is there breaking news about the game tonight? Let me see if anybody's saying anything. Okay, breaking news from Blake Murphy. He is saying officially 5 minutes ago. Here we go. Brandon Ingram is questionable tonight. RJ, Jakob, and Chucky are out, and Scotty is good to go on the back-to-back. So Scotty is definitely going to be playing tonight, and Brandon is questionable. So let's hope for Brandon to be returning. But Yak is out for sure, and RJ is out for sure for tonight. So that's a breaking news on that. And Joel Embiid and Paul George are both still questionable, apparently, according to Blake Murphy. So even though they didn't play last night, doesn't mean they're going to play tonight, apparently. So they may be sitting out once again. They don't want none of this. That's what it is. Let's just say it how it is. They don't want none of this. They don't want none of this. All right, let me see. Let's go do the classic card. We're coming in hot now. All right, here we go. All right, yeah, let's see. All right, let me get the classic card. We'll hope that Omari is still here to try and collect it. I know it's been a haul. You guys that have stuck with me this whole time during this whole stream, wow, you guys are impressive. All right, this is a tough one, guys. This is a tough one. This will be like a 300-point card. So let's see how you guys do. The angle's really weird, too. I don't know if you can see it. Maybe you can. All right, yeah, maybe y'all will get this. I'm looking at it this angle. I'm like, oh, I know who that is. Let's see. That's Trailblazers, obviously. And unfortunately, this player also passed away in recent years. Yeah, there you go. Amari does have it. Look at that. Amari's right in there on it on the Jerome Kersey. Of course, it was a small forward for the Portland Trailblazers that were contending for titles around 90. They played the Pistons in the finals, and they lost. He was in that lineup with Terry Porter, Clyde Drexler, Kevin Duckworth, and Buck Williams, along with Jerome Kersey. Yeah, now you can get groceries. I'm sorry that that's funny, man. You waited to get groceries until I did the classic card. That's hilarious. I'm gonna give you 300 points for waiting it out, man. That Kersey card's a little bit tough because of the high angle looking down on him. And I'm gonna give you, this is for waiting around, man. Amari, you can get 300 points added to your Raptor Freak trivia score for the year. Awesome, man. Yeah, as I said before, the last Tuesday of this month in January, we're going to be doing a Raptor Freak Tuesday trivia. And if you've never played that with us, it's so fun. We haven't done it hardly at all this season. And we're going to get a month of them starting on the last Tuesday of this month. So be ready to come in on Tuesday mornings with your trivia hat on for Raptors trivia. And this is PhD level shit that you do on this channel. That's right. Yeah, you have this card. That's how you got it. That's card. You're too far behind on the chat to get the classic card. That's too bad. That's too bad. All right, guys. I guess I'll wrap it up. No birthday today. No birthday. No Raptor birthday on my spreadsheet for today. We'll do the wrap up real quick. Tonight, the Raptors are going to play the Sixers again. And we just got the update. Scotty is playing. RJ and Yak are out. Brandon is questionable. So we'll just have to see how that all goes down by the time game time starts. And then let's see what the Sixers, questionable for Joel and Paul George. So we'll just have to see how it goes down for them. The referees for tonight's game, Jason Goebel will be the crew chief. He favors the Sixers. Dedrick Taylor is the referee. He favors the Raptors. And J.D. Rawls is the umpire. He favors the Sixers. So the ref crew could be a little dodgy. We'll just have to see how it goes. But, hey, the Raptors are able to beat 8 versus 5. And, hey, that's amazing that they can do that sometimes. The Raptors and the 905 both won their games last night. And the stars of the game for both the games, first of all, Scotty got the chain. He's the number one star. We call him Murray-Boyles, Jamal Shed, Emmanuel Quickley, and Elijah Martin as my stars of the game. We'll give an honorable mention to who was it that I wanted to give honorable mention to off the bench? Ochai Abaji, and also an honorable mention to the other starter. No, not the other starter. That's it. We'll just do an honorable mention to Abaji. And then for the 905 game, the stars of the game, Tyreek Key got got the chain, and he's the number one star. Olivier Sarr, number 2. AJ Hogarth, David Roddy, and Julian Reese are my stars of the game for that one. All right, guys. So I guess I've gotten to the end of the chat, and I appreciate everybody hanging in there with me for almost a 4-hour Lexathon. I hope everybody has a fantastic Monday. Let's beat the Sixers again, win the season series, and send old butthole face on out of Toronto with another loss. Yeah, you big dummy. You going to come out there and play? You scared, Paul George? You scared? You don't want to come out and play the Raptors? You scared, huh? Yeah, I see what's going on here. All right, I love you guys. Thanks for watching the stream today. What a fantastic game. Honestly, like I said, one of the best games I've ever been to in the long, long years of going to Raptors games was last night's game. Just it's going to be memorable and very unforgettable for a long, long, long time. What an epic win. Holy cow. And I know y'all feel it with me. All right, I'll see you guys tomorrow for a reaction to the game tonight. So God willing, the Raptors will win tonight and win the season series against the Raptors. I say, look, depending on how Joel comes in, depends on how we got a game for this game tonight. And I know Darko's got contingency plans for with or without Embiid and with or without Paul George. So we'll figure it out. And like, if we can try and contain Maxey better than we did last night, that'd probably be a good thing to try and improve on, because Maxey was a little out of control with having his powers going so crazy on the court. All right, guys, have a great day. Love y'all. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Please like, comment, subscribe, share, join the channel if you feel like I offer anything that you enjoy. I appreciate you, and I'll see y'all tomorrow. Let's go Raptors!